All right, they should be able to hear us. I think they probably heard someone like spamming the keyboard really fast, like really hard. We all have mechanical keyboards. We really should probably change that about ourselves. So hi, Adventures of Lollygagging. Hello, we are playing a new game tonight. We play a bunch of different tabletop role-playing games, and we're starting a new one tonight called A Town Called Malice, which is different than the games that we've been playing the last couple of weeks because this is GM-less and it's heavy storytelling, which means I don't get to like be the puppet master, like forcing them to do all these different things. We're gonna create a story together. So if you're in the channel, hi, or if you stop by later, no big deal. If you're watching this later, awesome as well. But we're gonna give it a we're gonna give this a whirl. So A Town Called Malice is by a company called Monkey Fun Studios. Just drop the link in the channel if you want to kind of take a look at it. Um, if you've played Fiasco before, that is like an immediate comparison that people will probably make, but there's other storytelling games. This is sort of a one-shot type of game where you sit down and you tell the story together. We don't know all the details of that story, and it's stuff that we kind of have to make up as we go, which is going to be both amazing and awful at the same time because, yeah, it's the first time playing it, so we're going to make like tons of errors, but we're going to try to teach it as best we can. Melissa and I have read the rules. The rest of them haven't, so we'll see how this goes. All right. Should we get started? Let's just get started.
Sure.
So we're gonna play everything as best we can. This is a learning game as much as it is, a playing game. So let's get into our setup summary. So the basic principle of A Town Called Malice is that this entire story is going to be taking place in a remote, isolated town that is kind of, they take care of themselves. They don't need others. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to be using a playset that can be found in the actual book itself. It's called, I think it's called Sky's Gone Out. And that what that playset does is sort of just defines certain parameters of like the town and things like that. That normally, if you were playing more freeform, you would kind of create on the fly. To save some time, since we're on stream, we're just going to use the playset. So let's go through a little bit of what our town's going to look like. So, in Sky's Gone Out, let me pull this over here. Stay. All right. So in town and Sky's Gone Out, Malice, our town, is far within the Arctic Circle. It's cold and it's removed from civilization, where 6 months out of the year the town is bathed in continual darkness, and that time is about to begin in a matter of days and has ushered in a terrible threat from the mainland. If anyone's ever seen 30 Days of Night, which I mentioned before this stream started with the adorable Josh Hartnett, you kind of get the feeling of where we might be going with this. We are a small town in the Arctic Islands. We're removed from the mainland, and we have a series of locations that we're going to be kind of building and exploring as this game goes on, including a harbor ferry that goes to and from other islands, a local cafe called Sunny Cafe, a Arctic fishing company as well. They're the Arctic Fishing Company headquarters. We've got a medical research station. We have the Malice Police Station. We have a small tavern, a local tavern called the Last Chance Bar. We have the Malice Town Hall, and we have a fishing cannery. There's also a church as well. So hopefully somebody else in the group is typing those in and creating those locations, because we're going to be taking notes as we go. But those are the starting locations for our town of Malice. And as the game goes on, we might be creating new locations depending upon where this story is particularly going to go. So next thing what we're going to do is we're going to go through our characters. This is where it's going to get kind of fun. So the game of Malice has like character archetypes, and these are all based upon like these loose, kind of a loose description of what your character could be. So there's like the criminal, the elder, the law, so like a sheriff or a cop or something like that, the local, the medic, the official, the stranger, the tradesman. These are all our options. And so let's go around really quickly, because everybody other than me has already picked a role. And so I'm going to have to give me time to now pick one. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over now to, we'll say Ashley. So, and we'll just kind of go around in a circle. Ashley, describe kind of who you picked and tell us your character name and kind of just immediately, what's the first thought that you had in your head about who this person is?
I'm playing the elder. Her name is Miss Barrow, and she's uh refined but in like questionable kind of way. Like she's that old lady who lives by herself in this large home, and she's got probably a few cats, but she's always hosting parties, and like they're a hit, but like there's got to be something weird in the food.
Okay. All right. I like it. And then Melissa, what do you got?
Okay, so I am playing Alice Wells, and the kind of archetype that I picked was the law. So I definitely see her as being she's been around for a while. She's, kind of a medium height, kind of stocky build. She's not really she's a nice person, but she's not like a friendly person. Like you would kind of think her grumpy if you don't know her very well. But she's definitely like, will, stop and play with kids if they're outside. And, everybody has, kind of generally positive feelings towards her. But if someone new were coming in town and were to, come across her, they would think that she's just kind of a tough broad and you don't want to mess with her.
Cool. Long.
Playing Johann the medic. He's an adult, dark skin. He's a bunch of piercings. He's generally a nice guy. He boasts about his medical prowess a lot.
Okay. Boastful. Good deal. I like it.
Is he actually good?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Is it warranted?
Of course I am. What do you mean?
Of course. Exactly. It's like, did you hear?
Oh my God, this man's full of strawberry preserves. What do I do?
Push them back in the bottle. Justin, who are you?
My name is Michael Bolton.
Oh, for
Right.
Christ's sake, this is a mistake.
I am the local. I've been living in the town of Malice my entire life, except for a brief stint where I was in the heart of Chicago and got this accent and came back. Basically, I lived there my whole life. I know the secrets about this town better than anyone else. I know what's beneath the surface of this town that others really don't know. And I like to frequent the cafe, if you know what I mean, get myself a few Chardonnays on a regular basis and relax as much as I can.
You get
And
Chardonnays? At the
yeah, go
cafe?
Bears. That's all I got to say about that. Soldier Field all till the day I
You're
die.
a random Bears fan in the middle of the Arctic. Got it.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I love just the animals themselves, not so much the football team.
Yeah, I don't think I can follow you with that Chicago accent. I'm going to go ahead and do the tradesman. So the tradesman is covered in grime. They spend their day hard at work at the local industry. So probably like a fisherman or something like that. Or maybe like, it's definitely a boatsman at least. Somebody or he could even be a ferryman. I'm not really sure exactly yet. We'll figure it out. But that's kind of how it's going to be. He's going by the name of Fogelberg. I like to think of him as kind of like Quint from Jaws. He's a gruff working man, blue collar, doesn't really have much nice things to say about city folk and about people who don't know how to use their hands.
Eyes black, rolling to the back of their head.
His eyes were black. Yes, it's going to be a pirate. That can't be right. But yeah, so his eyes were black like a doll's eyes. Lifeless eyes. Something like that is probably what I'm going to go with. Okay, so we've got tradesman Fogelberg. We've got elder Mrs. Barrow. We've got the law. Melissa, did you say Alice was like, is she like a cop, sheriff, etc.?
Yeah, she's like in charge, sheriff or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're like a sheriff or just, local cop, basically. Got it. All right, and then we've got the medic, who is Johann, and we've got local Bolton. All right, so we've got our names. We've got our roles selected. Next thing we got to do is it's time to start to determine what the relationships we have with each other. So this is all spatially related. You can see it on our little play mat. You can also see it on the overlay for the actual stream. But what we now have to do is we now have to define loosely the relationship that we have with the people sitting next to us. And so for me, that's going to be Ashley and Justin. For Ashley, that's going to be me and Melissa. For Long, it's going to be Melissa and Justin, etc. So the person to the left and person to the right, since we're not around a physical table, we just going to kind of do it like a clock. So I'm at 12, and then we kind of move it around. Now, there's sort of vaguely two ways your relationship can be defined. It can be defined with a good relationship, which is by using the green thumbs up token that I'm going to throw down here on the screen so people can see it. Or you can be, and that's what's called a height die, or the red thumbs down button, which is a bad relationship. Now, a bad relationship doesn't necessarily mean you hate each other or anything. It just you might have just like a history that like a secret that you all like shared, like, you know, and like you maybe you covered up something for them or whatever. It's like one of the examples that they had in the book. And so you kind of feel guilty about it. And so you don't really like to hang around with that person too much. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go around the horn here, and there is a pool of 5 good tokens and 5 bad tokens. And one by one, we're going to each pick one. You don't have to pick one of each. You can pick whatever you like. So I'll go ahead and let Ashley start us off. What's up, Justin?
That would be my question. Is that one have to be good and one have to be bad? But
so no, all we're doing right now is you're picking the tokens, and then we'll assign the tokens after that. So Ashley, go ahead and pick one of either red or green, and just bring it over to your name somewhere, and that's what we'll go with. All right. So Ashley took a good one. Melissa, go ahead and grab one.
Okay.
And then go ahead, Long. Your turn. Again, you're gonna define separate relationships for each person. Justin, what do you? Okay, I'll go ahead and take the red. All right, Ashley,
Break the tie.
your turn. Oh, look at her! She just wants to be liked by everybody.
Hey.
Okay.
My goal is to keep the status quo.
That's fair. That's fair. Melissa.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Okay.
I'll split. Yeah.
All right. Long. Okay, Justin.
Yeah, look at Long.
That's what I wanted. I wanted 2 reds. I wanted everyone to hate me. God damn it. All right. Okay. So, hey, Bert, how's it going? All right, we're still just sort of
I just
in
hope
the
that you
setup
put that
phase.
green on my side. That's all it is.
All right, so now that we have, like, those are the 2 tokens you're working with. And so now this is where we kind of figure out, work with the people sitting next to you, all right, to determine, like, what is the nature of your relationship. It doesn't have to be, like, super, like, you know, super detailed yet, but refine it and expand it a little bit. Try to figure out what that might be. Maybe you're related. Maybe you work together. Maybe you're old high school friends, whatever it might be. And remember, we're in a small Arctic village, you know, Arctic fishing town, modern day setting, right? So like 21st century, something like that. And and work that out. And then you get to decide which one of those is good and which one of those bad. So like I have one of each. I can make my bad relationship with Justin, or I can make it with Ashley. And it doesn't have to be mutual. So like I can do like I have a bad view towards Justin, but Justin might have a good view towards me, something like that. So work it out. This is going to be awkward for the stream because we're all going to be talking. So we might just want to do this one by one just to keep organization. Should we do that?
Yeah.
All right, Ashley, since you've got 2 positive, why don't you, what are you thinking? Let's start. Like, what do you want to be, how are you connected to Fogelberg, the tradesman?
I'm thinking we've just been like close with like your general family for years because I don't really have my own anymore.
Well, I was actually thinking mine probably doesn't have one either. And so maybe that's because I was thinking like an old crotchety, like fisherman type.
Okay, yeah.
And so if that's the case, maybe like since both of us don't have family,
we're just like the old single folks and we get paired together often.
Sure.
Just because we're single and old.
So I'll go ahead and put the positive on yours then. Or maybe are we friends with benefits, Ashley?
Oh, are we? Fine, that works.
I was just gonna say, if you 2 were younger characters, it would be the like,
Whoa.
you just get it over with.
No ageism
but
here.
like,
no.
Well, maybe we do just because, like
Yeah.
I bring
It's-
over,
it's
some
lonely.
saltines, and then like
So just some saltines and some salmon
Yeah,
to set
that's
the
it.
mood.
I already love this game so far. I love it so far.
All
Old
right,
people banging.
old people banging. All right, Ashley. So then now you and Melissa figure some stuff out.
I was thinking, just because I'm a little bit mysterious, I was maybe in a jam once and you helped me out.
Yeah, I was actually thinking because we're both older folk, like maybe we've like grew
Are
up
we
together
also
or
friend with
like
benefits, Melissa?
had a long
Well then.
relationship.
Okay.
I was thinking like we've known each other like our whole lives, kind of. A thing.
Maybe let's just be best friends.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then, so are you both playing positives towards one another?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and
Okay.
adopt that.
All right.
On my side.
So then, Melissa, you're a cop. Long's a medic. But both of you apparently are going to have a negative relationship towards each other. So like, why? How did that play out? How did that happen?
I was thinking something along the lines of maybe you came up on a scene, or maybe I had to pick between two members of your family to save, and I could pick one of them. Maybe you blame me for the death of one.
Sure. Let's go with that. Let's say that I had I'll say adult child that had some type of like accident that should have been something that like other people could have recovered from, but you think you're such hot shit, but you did not actually save them. So we have to work together, but
Mhm.
it is very begrudging.
And it's probably pretty bad because you probably run into each other a lot too, both being. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So then you slide it
It's
over
like,
to the sides.
I'm in charge here. And he goes, not anymore. You're not.
Who's in charge here? I am.
I feel like
Not
it's gonna be
anymore.
one of
You're
those-
not.
This is your jurisdiction.
I feel like it's going to be one of those things where like I always have to find out like results of stuff from somebody else because like you won't call me and tell me what it is, but you'll call somebody else at the office, so it like slows everything down because you just don't like avoid talking to me.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So then next, Long, you have to what about you and Justin? So are you young, a young medic? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm a pretty young medic.
Justin, what do you think your character is in terms of age?
I'm
Older,
like
younger.
mid 40s, maybe.
Okay. So young.
I'm like,
Got it.
yeah, but I like to say that I'm like to think maybe around 41, but I like to say I'm still around like 29. You know what I mean? Like a lot of crazy people do. No, I'm thinking mid 40s. And what I was thinking is I'm just enamored with the guy because I'm a drunk, right? And I'm always at the cafe. Maybe he shows up. Maybe I see him in the street. I'm just enamored. Like, I am so amazed that someone as young as you was able to excel what you've done. Could you tell me some stories? Like, I'm always just talking his ear off. And I'm thinking like maybe the situation is like you're just tired of hearing shit from me on a regular basis.
Okay.
I always ask you for rides home. I'm
He
just
finds you
Yeah,
as like his
you're like-
stalker at this
Yeah, you're like
point.
meddling too much, pretty much.
yeah, I can't, I won't leave you alone, that type of thing. But I'm just fascinated with you and think you're fantastic. That's what I would think would be good for that.
All right. Okay. So that's a positive for Bolton towards you, but obviously a negative from Johann.
Like every time you see me, you're like, fuck it, this guy.
All right. So then Justin and me, what are we doing? I got a
I
negative.
think-
You got a negative. What's up?
I think that for some reason I just don't like the way you, because you're a tradesman. You're like traveling tradesman, right? You're a salesman.
I'm no salesman. That's a white collar job. I'm a fisherman, boatsman.
Maybe something happened in the past that really
I travel these waters, and they're very choppy, and
What if he peed on your boat?
You son of a bitch! Now, what if he drunkenly stumbled onto my boat one night and like crashed it or something?
Yeah,
I
just
think
like
something like that.
wrecked.
Okay, so that's why I hate you. And that's my bad relationship. So we can say that's it. That's probably all it is, or maybe
Yeah, like I'm like, what's his problem? I don't know what his deal is. Just lighten up, buddy. This guy's a real dick.
I like this idea. What if he drunkenly wrecked your boat and then peed in it, so that when the medic showed up, when Johann showed up, there's Bolton just peeing the whole time.
Got the fire, don't
And
worry.
That's where your obsession with Johann started as well, too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got.
I just like the idea, like, you're completely justified in your anger towards me, and I'm just like, this guy, fuck this guy. What's his problem? You know?
Okay, perfect. Let's see. So that's where are we at? That is so we got our relationships. Sounds good.
What was it positive between Ashley again? The elder.
We are knocking them
Oh.
boots.
Yeah, we're friends with benefits.
Okay.
We're both really old, and we don't have any
They
family.
both go to Bob Evans and turn in around 8 o'clock.
Which-
And the only
Which voice am I doing?
oh, do whatever you like. I'm trying to do a cross between a pirate and
Just
Quint
come
from
out with
Jaws.
Miss Chuffwick.
It's a
You
dull
ready?
rise. Oh, farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Something like
Melissa.
that. Okay.
Oh, that's a fun little come hither voice there.
Oh, she knows how I like it. Oh, here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Hey, you want to hang out tonight? Got any saltines?
These are so dry. Oh, God, it's awful.
Said she was elegant. That's not gonna be it. but
Okay.
good
All
for
right.
them.
All right. Moving on. Okay. So we got this. All right. So next thing is we got to assign character points. So in this game, character points are, I'm giving everybody one because that's what we start with. Everybody starts with a character point, and character points are used to, you can spend them in a couple different ways. You can spend them when a scene's going on to add like a new location to the game. You can do it to add like a new civilian or a new item that might be important. Or you can spend it to allow a third player to join the scene. And it's all, so like what that means is now there's, instead of just two, there's now going to be three people in the scene. Because normally, by default, there's only two. You can also spend character points. You can spend 2 character points to increase your own like personal dice pool. So everybody starts off with like a personal dice pool of 1. What that basically means is that when your character is in a scene, they're contributing 1 dice by default to like the resolution of that scene. But if you spend 2 character points, you can permanently increase your personal dice pool to 2, so that whenever you're in a scene now, you are contributing 2 dice to the resolution of that scene. And you can do that to a max of 3. You can never have more than 3 in your personal dice pool. That make sense? And if the more dice that you contribute to a scene, the greater the likelihood that the resolution of that scene is a positive one. Okay? And what else? I think that's it. Whenever you add something to a scene, like a new civilian or an extra player, you temporarily increase the pool, but it's not permanent. It's only for that scene. But if you spend the 2 points, etc. There's other ways that you can get character points. You'll be able to get more character points at the start of Act 2. You can also get character points by doing scenes that are there to kind of drive your personal goal and your relationships. Okay, because even though we have defined our relationships as we have, they're not permanently going to be like that. So it's perfectly possible that Justin and I could somehow bury the hatchet, and by the end of the game we could have better relationships. And in the course of doing so, that might help us kind of fight whatever darkness that we're going to be facing off against. All right, so we got our character points, and now let's talk about the town. Okay, so since we're using a playset, we already have the town, but let's talk a little bit about the locations, because every one of us has a specific location that we kind of add to the game. So I'm adding, as a tradesman, I add the plant, but because we're specifically using a playset, that plant is actually a fishing cannery. So I'm going to say that the fishing cannery it's not necessarily where I work directly, but since I'm a fisherman, I'm obviously delivering a lot of my fish, my Arctic char, to the fishing cannery, and that's where I kind of sell a lot of my goods, is specifically there, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm like some kind of not necessarily like a contractor or something for the Arctic Fishing Company, and then I'm delivering my stuff to the fishing cannery, and that's where I'm getting a lot of my money from. Now, the other thing I have to do at the plant is I have to name a citizen that's connected to me. Like, so, and our specific roles have like some suggestions on what that could be. And so it could perhaps be like a coworker or a manager or something like that. So I am going to define a person by the name of Hooper, who is kind of like this rich kid who is, kind of inherited the fishing cannery, and he's kind of my boss, and I can't stand him because he's never really worked a hard day in his life. He's never really gone fishing, anything like that. And so that's going to be the guy at that specific location. So what I'll do is while you all are kind of doing the same thing that I just did, I'll go ahead and add that note to the fishing cannery. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So all of you, we'll do this one by one. So Ashley, dive into your character. What is it you get as the elder? What's the location?
I add the office to the town. It's where the office allows the town elder to keep focused on their business dealings as well as hold court when people are out seeking my opinion or advice.
And so that's the Arctic Fishing Company. That's what you have.
Yes.
So based on our playset. So now you get to come up. Do you have to come up with an NPC?
And my NPC is this gossipy receptionist. Her name is Stacy. She greets all the visitors in my office reception, as well as the caretaker for some of the more embarrassing, indiscreet decisions that I might have made, like publicly making out with you in the bar.
What? How's that embarrassing? How's that indiscreet?
No, like, because I'm supposed to, be a model citizen, not being crazy, flashing people in the bar.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
Is she embarrassed of this relationship?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
I mean,
But I'm single.
His boat handles like crap. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. So her name's Stacy, and that's the Arctic Fishing Company. So one of the things I'm making sure we're doing is I'm going through and like dragging over so that we can have our notes. All right, perfect. Next up is Melissa.
Okay, so I am the law, and so the location that comes with me is the station. So, it's kind of the police station. I'm going to say that there is like one cell, essentially. That's sort of all there is. I was actually picturing like kind of the same thing that Ashley ended up with, was the dispatch being the citizen. Her name is Gloria.
Gloria.
I would imagine that Gloria and Stacy often kind of send messages back and forth as we're kind of talking throughout the day. And Gloria is probably the person that Johann talks to the most. When he's avoiding talking to me, he's calling Gloria to share results and findings and things like that.
Okay.
So she's very much the kind of bubblegum chewing, smacking gum in your ear while on the radio kind of.
Okay.
I like to think maybe we're just too old to get like electronics. So I'll just be like, Stacy, can you send Gloria a text message so I could talk to Alice? I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, everything takes much longer than it should.
All right. So
maybe that's why Johann hates us.
All right. So that was Gloria at the police station. All right. All that's saved. Got it. Okay. So then we go over to Long. So Long, who are you?
Johann the medic, so I get the medic infirmary place.
Yeah, which is just which is actually here is a medical research center. Specifically.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more than just a clinic.
Does
Stacy have a Jersey accent? Stacy should have a Jersey. We have like a really strange collections of accents in this Arctic place so far. She's Jersey Shore.
So I guess I got a researcher in here.
Okay. All right. Melissa, you want to do the NPC? I already made the other Gloria, so somebody else doubled it, but it's fine. Melissa, can you do the location actually, and I'll do the NPC.
Okay, so I'm adding in all the additional locations.
Just don't worry about it. I got it. So what's the researcher's name?
So his name is Willis. He's just doing the grunt work in here. He's keeping supplies stocked. paperwork in order.
Okay. All right.
What you talking about, Willis?
So are you like friends with this person, or are you like?
Yeah, pretty friendly in her.
Okay. All right.
Gets all the work done when I'm not available.
All right. The other thing that we are all, by the way, allowed to do is we could always like, describe how our characters might connect with one another. So like, if for instance, like Justin's character of what the hell, Bolton is like drinks with Stacy or something like that. Like if she's like a barfly, that like they're frequently drinking companions, that also might grate me a little bit. So stuff like that, we can kind of flesh those out as well. All right, then last is Justin. What's your location?
So my location is the cafe to the town. Can I make that the bar, or is it?
We already have a bar called the Tavern, which is the Last Chance Bar. So we already have a bar.
All right.
But I think it makes perfect sense that you instead develop the bar. So yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
A bar, or could you just be like a deli? Like,
And you might want to close your Discord if it's going to be making noise all night,
I
buddy.
don't know why I had it. So I guess it's I add the cafe.
Yeah, we already have. So these locations we already have. We already have the Sunny Cafe and we already have the Last Chance Bar. So the question is just like, for your role, like what is your role add in terms of like a character, right? A civilian that we can kind of mess with.
So I get the name assistant that's connected to you. Is that one of the ones you're talking
It
about?
depends on what it says on your sheet. Like your sheet will tell you if you look at the local.
So it says so it's the waitress or the busboy.
Or something you come up with your own. It doesn't have to be that.
So I was gonna go with the bartender. That's what I was gonna go with.
Okay.
And her name is Janice, and it's basically the waitress. Always overworked and always on their feet. They know everyone in town and can tell current gossip of what's about just about everybody. So that's what they do. So they're basically like, for some reason, they're just always cleaning a glass. I don't know why there's always a glass to clean, but they're always just sitting there with a towel over their shoulder.
Okay. And so
Same towel all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she works at the Last Chance Bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So she's gossipy bartender. So let's just go. I'll just go through this one more time so everyone kind of knows.
And yours?
Didn't I do mine right off the bat? Hooper. Yeah. So we've got
Oh yeah.
Gloria, who is friends with Stacy, who we know Stacy is a gossipy receptionist. Where is she a receptionist at again?
Arctic Fishing Co. headquarters.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here as well. Okay, so she's a gossipy receptionist at the Arctic Fishing Company, friends with Gloria. What do we know about Gloria's personality?
Gloria is sort of the gum chewing, kind of stereotype of the police dispatch kind of airhead.
I feel like we have so many gossipy people. This is great.
I don't know that she's like as gossipy. I would say she's actually a little more quiet, and I would say she sort of tries to act like Stacy a bit. And so I would say that Alice is sometimes trying to get her to like be her own person.
Okay. So she's quiet, but she's trying to act gossipy and outgoing like Stacy.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So we've got Gloria, gossipy receptionist at the Arctic Fishing Company.
Stacy.
Gloria is friends with Stacy. She does dispatch at the police station, and she's friends with Stacy, who is the gossipy receptionist at the Arctic Company. We've got Hooper, who is like a rich kid that has recently inherited the fishing cannery company that's on the island that for a very long time Quint Fogelberg is his full name, has been delivering his stuff to. And this is a kid who's never really worked. He's got he doesn't have any calluses on his hands, that kind of thing. But he's rich and he's got a powerful family that's from the mainland. Okay. Then we've got Janice, who is a gossipy bartender at the Last Chance Bar. And finally, we've got Willis, who is a research assistant, does a lot of grunt work, and he's like a fill-in medic when Long's character of Johann is not available. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Just dragging some stuff over to make it easier for us to move between these things. Okay. So the other thing that we have in our specific setup is we've got one additional location called the church. So the Melissa, did you add the church?
I believe somebody else added that in already.
So we've got the church. So we have 2 questions that we have to answer as a group. One, what's the denomination of the church?
Wait, what do you mean?
What's the denomination? Like Catholic, Lutheran? Is it a Jewish temple? Is it a mosque? That kind of thing. What do we want?
Unitarian.
Okay. Okay. And then we need who is a frequent attendee at the church?
I was gonna vote for Church of Dianetics.
Church. Bert says Jehovah's Witnesses too. Oh God. Okay. Who is a frequent attendee at the church? Doesn't have to be a new person. It could be somebody we already have. It could be one of us. Could be a civilian. What do we think?
What about the Church of Satan?
It's a little on the nose.
I know what's wrong with this town. I mean, we're all
It's a little on the nose. Nair Lothip Church. Oh God, what's happening here? Who is a frequent attendee? Does anybody want to volunteer?
If it was like an evil church, I would say me 100%.
Oh God,
I'll say Gloria.
Let's not derail it too much too soon. Gloria. Okay.
Sure.
Gloria is. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to her. So frequently attends the church.
Okay, Stacy goes then too. The women.
All right. Also, Stacy.
my church is the tavern. That's my.
My church is the sea. Arr. So stupid.
Your church should be a thank you for getting your boat back to you. Why don't you just think about that?
Okay, so now this game begins with the discovery of a body. Okay, that's how all these games begin. And in our setup, the body is Reverend Olafur Linkvist, age 38. Okay.
He was so young.
Right? He's like half my age in real life.
Oh, shut up.
All right. Melissa, can you add an entry for Olafur, please? His hands were ripped off at the wrists, his neck was torn open, and he was left in the pool of his own blood, saturated into the snow, and much of the ice surrounding his was clawed away. So then we have to answer, like, you know, like there's like potential questions that we could potentially sort of figure out as we go, which is like them giving us like things that we could potentially want to ask, things like, you know, what was missing from his possessions, how he did blasphemy, whatever. But like that's the general gist of how he was discovered. In this game, one of the things that we're trying to accomplish is a specific event, and our event is a glacier survey. So the government has sent a survey team to inspect a nearby glacier that's overlooking the town. Okay? There's been a setback, however. The preliminary stability report of the glaciers indicates serious problems of some kind. And so what we're then trying to do is figure out how can we make sure that this survey goes off. And so some potential things that they're suggesting here, if you guys look at the sheet, and this is all about what we're trying to do in scenes, is how can we stabilize the glacier? What can be done to assure that the government the town is safe, that kind of thing. And yeah, I think you all in the game, go ahead, you can see what the darkness is, but we won't necessarily, let's not reveal it for people on stream until the time comes. Like let's make it, you know, again, as players, people, we know what it is, and we can see how it might manifest, things that might happen, and we can see potential questions we might be looking for, but let's not spoil it so that like the stream, the audience is actually
Where are we seeing this?
This is in the Skies Gone Out handout that's under the character sheet. It's where I've been reading all this other stuff from too.
In game, we don't know about this at all.
Your
right?
characters do not know about this. Like
Okay.
we are trying to discover this. Okay? And we'll come back to the confrontation table when the time comes. All right. So I think let's get started. The first scene, I think, is going to be... I'll go ahead and... I think Melissa and I should probably go ahead and do it since we're just trying to entertain you. When can we play? I think Melissa and I will probably go first because here's what we're going to do. So it's act...
Okay.
I think this is. You let me know if this sounds cool, but I think this works the best. What we're gonna do is we have to figure out, like, the first scene is how the body is being discovered, like who discovers it. And so what I'm gonna say is, let's make the first scene. This will be my first scene, right? So we can walk through how this works.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the person I'm going to want is Alice, because I'm going to say that I discovered the body floating in ice and then kind of like floating in the water as I was docking my ship at the docks, and posture check. And then I obviously called the local law enforcement to come to investigate it. So that's the scene. Now, what we need to do is when it's our turn to take the scene, like I'm doing now, we have to define, like, what's our specific goal for this scene. And there's a couple different things you can do. One of them could be to try to advance, like, the story elements of it, so the body, the event, the darkness, or it could be to develop better personal relationships or to advance, like, a specific agenda. So I'm going to say, since I'm going first, since I am docking my ship, I just came out from a catch. I've unloaded my catch. And maybe as I'm unloading my catch, I'm dumping out like a big old net, and I see kind of something kind of floating in the water, and it's like this chunk of ice that's smacking against the shore, and there's a body on it. And so I'm obviously gonna call the cops. And so I want to try to determine something like so I'm kind of curious, is like, I think the question that I'm going to want to try to figure out here regarding the body is maybe, I don't know. Let's say, when did we who was the last person maybe to, like, see the Reverend? Because we know it's the Reverend, we can identify who it is. That's given information. And so we're trying to figure that out. I'm going to say that our location for this, our standard location, is going to be, we might as well just make it at the cannery, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And because we're at the cannery, or no, even better, let's set it at the Arctic Fishing Company. Let's set it at the Arctic Fishing Company headquarters. And we already know that Stacy's there, and she's fairly gossipy. And so you and I will say, to start our scene, like, we just came, we're sitting there outside. Stacy is bringing us some coffee or something like that. And the camera opens up. There's grumpy old, crotchety Quint Fogelberg and crotchety old Alice, whatever, or not crotchety out. Maybe Alice doesn't have crotcheties. But we're looking down at this body as, like, Stacy comes up. And I'm going to say, I just saw it floating in the water. Returned from doing a big run, a good run. Hooper has been giving me all sorts of problems lately, undercutting me bids. But I didn't really know the Reverend much. I didn't go to church, I heard rumors there might be Satanists there, But anyhow, he looks pretty torn up. You ever seen something like this before?
No, if it were anyone other than the Reverend, I would think this would be another one of those drunken boating accidents of someone just going and toppling
This
off
was
of
not
their
a
boat.
boating accident. I don't know what happened to my voice.
That's always my first guess when you find a body floating in the water. Somebody drink too much and go off the edge. But I've never seen anything pull hands off at the wrist before.
I'll tell you, I've been on a fair share of boats in me time. I've big ones, small ones. There was the pretty one too, the Orca. Love that one. Then that son of a bitch Bolton just took it for a joyride and crushed it and peed all over it. It was very upsetting. But my point is this: these wounds here, Sheriff, are just these aren't made by no propeller. Ain't no propeller's gonna be so precise as to just slice the throat in such a way. And it certainly wasn't any kind of animal. No shark, no orca, no other types of fish or creature. I got to tell you, I don't think anything from the ocean did this. Not at all. what do we know about the Irritant? Do we know anything? Do we know, was he into some foul things or such? Do you have any enemies?
I don't believe so. I mean, you know, we have those among us that didn't necessarily like all of his proselytizing 24 hours a day. He really took his calling seriously, but not enough that anyone would actually do him harm.
Is that any reason to kill a man, to tear his hands off and rip out his throat just because you don't like his proselytizing? You just tell him to shut up and you give him a good sock in the jaw like we old-fashioned men used to do back in 1937. However old I am. Shut up, Bolton. You're not in this scene. And so we'll say like Stacy comes up at this point, and like somebody needs to play Stacy. So somebody else who wants to play Stacy.
Do we need to spend any points to bring?
No, she's at the location, so
okay.
Yeah, we don't. It's only if we have introduced something new.
It's so chilly out here. Would you guys like some coffee?
Yeah, I'd like some coffee. And so, oh my God, what happened? So I'll grab it, and I'll kind of nudge Alice, and I'll be like, "This one here, she's the town gossip. Maybe she might." What the fuck's happening? Arg, you matey. She might know something about this.
Oh, you know, the last time I saw him, he was out over by the tavern. Maybe I thought I saw him talking to Bolton, but you know, Bolton was drunk.
Okay. It probably was him. Well, it probably wasn't, but it should have been him. You know what? You should put him in jail nonetheless. I don't think it was him that did this, but...
Do you really think he could do that?
No, but... Damn it. Smell him for piss, Sheriff. Do you smell any urine? If there's urine on that, it's definitely Bolton.
You see her immediately. She is all about putting Bolton in jail if there's any possible excuse to do so.
I'll spend a character point to say that it's at this point Bolton is just like drunkenly wandering by. So I'll spend my character point to do that, to bring Justin into the scene, just so I can kind of show how this works too. So I'm gonna spend my character point, which means I don't have it anymore. And as long as everybody's cool with this, Bolton is like drunkenly wandering by outside. And what is he doing when he comes up, Justin?
He's walking by. He's got a beer bottle in his hand. It's covered in a brown bag, so obviously it could be anything. You don't know.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of like walking by. Gotta take a piss.
Can we say that the beer bottle's actually broken, and you're just like trying to drink out of a broken bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to put it back together. And do you want me to initiate the conversation, or do you guys?
You can do whatever. Like as you're wandering by, what are you thinking?
He puts the broken neck back on it to drink it.
This thing just won't stay on. Anyways, I walk by. I hear you talking. Say, did I hear some piece of shit say my name? Did I hear come out of someone's mouth that probably should keep their mouth shut?
Look at
You can't talk about me like that.
Sorry, dearie. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about that smelly tub of lard there, talking about his boat and me pissing the stuff. Screw this guy. He's a real...
I'm like 3.2% body fat over here.
You just shredded.
I'm a scrawny, shredded old man. I've got no ass.
Interrupt.
My jeans fall down. Yeah, go ahead.
So Alice has heard this 3 times a day. So Alice will go over and kind of start asking some questions about where Bolton has been.
I mean, me personally, where have I been personally today? Well, lots of places.
Where were you last night?
I don't know, but I would assume I was hanging out at a fine establishment.
Who did you see last night?
Things. Last night, I was at the bar. Oh, you know who I saw? My best friend. My best friend I saw at the bar last night. Johann, real cool guy. Loves hanging out with me. I was talking his ear off about how great of a guy is. He was asking me about my life and the things I enjoy. And I'll
That's-
just him at the
I'm
boss.
going to
Great.
lean over to the sheriff at this point and be like, look at the bottle. You see it? You could cut someone's throat with that, you know. And
What's that? What are you saying?
and I think it's time. I think now would be a pretty good time to do a roll, because
Okay.
what we're trying to figure out is where, like, you know, who might have last seen, the Reverend before his death. Where was he last night or something like that. So let's do the roll. So in this game, you do at the end of a scene or towards the end to sort of determine if your question gets answered. And so it's possible that if I succeed on this roll, then maybe Bolton did in fact and can kind of tell me information that this was like they saw him. Or if we fail, then Bolton doesn't know and we have to continue to figure it out. So right now, because it's Melissa and I that started the scene, 1 die from me, 1 die from her, and then because I spent a character point to bring in Bolton, that gives us 3 dice. So I'm gonna roll 3 dice for my scene, and then Melissa, if you want to roll 3 dice, because that's the difficulty in Act 1, and see who gets more successes, and that'll determine
Alright.
whether or not we're successful. So here's mine. Oh no. Oh no. 0 successes from me.
All successes.
3
This
from
is
you.
in opposition.
And so as this scene
Jeez.
continues to play out, it just becomes like Bolton's just rambling on and on about how great Johann is, and he never says anything useful. We get in a fight at some point. Maybe I push him into the water. Maybe we both tumble into the water, but nothing comes out of this, and we don't ever learn at all from whether Stacy or Bolton what actually where he was last seen. So that's the end of my scene. Unsuccessful, unfortunately. And so then we have to kind of do some movement of dice. So whenever we do, resolve it, let me pull this up. I have a little chart for this to remind myself. So I tried to do the body, and it was a failure. So we remove 1 die from the body, and then we either subtract 1 die from the event, or we add 1 die to the darkness. So I'm going to go ahead and just add. So I take 1 from the body, and so now there's 1, and I'm going to put it into the darkness. And that's how that works. And over the course of the game, things will fluctuate. We move on. All right, so anybody can go next. There's no specific order to this. It's just whenever sort of makes sense. So does anybody have an idea of what they want to do next?
I have an idea.
Okay.
It's going to be a relatively small scene, but Alice's personal goal is maintaining order. So we've got this body that's here, and it's in pretty bad shape. So what I would like to do is, Bolton is drunk, and I don't actually think he kind of knows what's going on, so I don't see him necessarily as being a threat.
I think you're wrong, Sheriff. Go ahead.
I'm going to have a conversation with Stacy, because she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut. So I basically just want to have a brief conversation with Stacy. So I'm going to kind of pull her aside.
Are you bringing a character a player into the scene with you?
Yeah. So me.
Can have up to 1. By default, it's usually 1, because remember, if
I will,
it's just you, then there's
I'll
no...
have the conversation with Ms. Barrow
Okay. And where are you
about Stacy.
Okay.
Sorry.
And where are you going to be at?
Same location.
Okay.
Because we're in your office, right?
Yep.
Ashley. So I'm gonna go upstairs and find her. And okay, fleshing this out as I go. So I'll kind of go up and knock on your door to your office.
Come in, darling.
Yeah. So not sure if you've heard about this yet, but actually found a body right outside your office.
How
this morning.
disgusting.
I know.
Is
was
it
the
Bolton
poor-
sleeping again?
No, it's actually a dead body of our poor Reverend.
Oh, how
Actually,
dreadful.
Yeah, and not just a fell off the boat kind of a thing, but it's kind of gory. So can you do me a favor and kind of keep all of your employees away from the south side to give us a little chance to kind of get the body back over to Johann's place? And can you keep an eye on Stacy? Maybe keep her busy for a while, because I feel like she now knows, and everybody's going to know in 5 minutes if you can't keep her busy with something.
Certainly. Do you want our video footage as well?
That would probably also be a good idea later.
Stacy would have to go through. I don't know how to use that nonsense, but you know.
Okay. I'm just reading kind of the personal goal. So essentially that's kind of all I wanted to do. And with personal goal, I don't believe you need to roll.
Sorry, I was muted. So you said, the personal goal, if you're just trying to advance your personal goal, there's no rolling.
Okay. So basically just maintaining order. So I basically get a character point for that. So just trying to do my best to keep this kind of out of everyone else's knowledge for right now.
Yeah, so Miss Bolton immediately, or Barrow immediately calls him, Stacy up to like start reviewing video footage.
Okay. All right. So that's the end of second scene. So first scene for Melissa done. First scene for me done. Who wants to go next? Who thinks that there's one to do? Again, the goal here, like we've got this issue with this like glacial survey thing that's going on. We've got this dead body that was found down by the water that we're investigating. And then you get your own personal stuff that's going on. Who wants to go next?
So I can have like a scene about the event, about the glacial thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would probably be a major concern of Miss Barrow's. So she would probably want to meet up with, oh God.
Johann's the medic. I'm a fisherman. Bolton's a local drunk. Alice is the law. You can also spend character points to create new civilians and such. So, and also you can just define, like you can go to specific locations and wherever.
Yeah, because I'd probably want to go to the town hall.
Okay.
And speak with, whoever's in charge of the town. So maybe like the official.
Okay, so you can spend if you want, spend a character point to create a new NPC.
Okay, so I'll spend a character point to create a new NPC.
Okay, so I'll add it for you. So it's like a mayor or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the mayor's name? What are you thinking?
Hoffman.
Okay. All right. So you're there. Which other PC might be there as well?
I was thinking maybe Johann.
Okay. Johann, why do you think you would be at the town hall at around this time during the day?
I've got to deliver my reports about the glacial research, I guess.
Okay, so because you work at the research center and you're delivering specific physical reports. All right. So one of you could maybe be in a meeting with the mayor right as the other arrives, something like that.
I would like to think that Miss Barrow interrupts the meeting that they're having, like a constructive thing, and she just kind of waltzes in with her mink coat.
Okay. Who wants to play the mayor?
I'll do it.
All right, Justin. So we're going to try to be consistent with which NPCs we keep if we can throughout the game. So Justin is Mayor Hoffman. Go for it. Sorry,
Hoffman, what I'm saying here is we need to get this guy's off our back. We've got the research to prove it.
What we're doing for this town is none of your business. We need to make money for our area so we can get our projects done.
Was that as vague as possible? I was trying to make it as vague as possible.
Yeah.
What?
And Miss Barrows waltzes in. So,
Excuse me.
Mayor Hoffman, darling, I was wondering, how are our enterprises going with this glacier nonsense?
I'm confused what you mean by our.
And it's kind of well known, but not spoken of, that Miss Barrows is prepared to do stuff off the books to get things done. Maybe she's in cahoots with the mayor to keep this town as it should be,
Okay.
alive and well, in putting money in Miss Barrow's pocket.
We have important research being done at the glacier, and it is important that it proceeds as planned. I'm confused as to what you feel should be changed with the given situation.
I would like it to be expedited, obviously. I'm tired of waiting for results.
I can do what I can to maybe grease the pockets and try to and expedite the situation.
Obviously, you're useless to me.
Okay.
Johann, darling, how can you assist me in this?
Well, I've got my researchers working on it right now.
Could you perhaps, over time, speed things up a little bit?
They already do so much, and I don't know how willing they're.
And she whips out her checkbook. How much exactly would be to speed things up a little bit? 20K?
Well, I'll have to get back to them.
Darling, you'll get back to me, my love. So let's speak about this, tomorrow.
Now would be maybe a good time to do the roll, and like if you're
Yes.
successful, like you get an amount that makes sense, and we can grease the wheels for the research. If not, then you don't get an amount you like. So
Okay.
the difficulty is still 3, okay, but you get 3 dice for you because you spent a point to create a new NPC. It's a temporary, just for the scene only, and so you'll have 1 point for you, 1 point for Johann, and then 1 point for the temporary NPC. So it's 3 to 3 again.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and you roll the 3 for yours. And then, Long, why don't you go ahead and roll 3 dice for the opposition? So,
Don't roll like you did it the other
3d6s.
day.
That's not how to do it. Roll 2d6s.
What happened there?
I don't know. You rolled a 2 on that one, so you got to roll 2 more. So just hit on the bottom right of Foundry. Just hit the square twice, and then click roll. There you go. You've got 1 success versus 1 success. Tie goes to the player. So this is a successful scene. And so you would basically, at this point, Ashley, you kind of wrap it up, and you could just summarize it like as you finally get the number that you want or whatever, however you think it should wrap up. So go ahead.
So basically what I want to happen is the wheels are getting greased well enough to where we're actually, the research is applying to helping get the event to happen. So like to brace the glacier so that it doesn't, ruin the town, so that we can also continue studying it.
Okay. And so, so since you were trying to develop the event and you were successful, we get to add a die to the event, which I'm doing now. So now we.
And then I'll say,
it's the worst. All right. So then that's the end of that scene. Who's next? So that's the 3 of Melissa, Ashley, and myself. We all got our first scenes out. So Justin, Long, you guys have an idea of something you might be able to do? And again, you're either trying to do something to investigate the body, learn about what might have caused the death of this body, or advance the event, make it easier for the event to go through, or you could be doing something personal, something to develop a relationship with somebody else, or like change a bad relationship into a good one, or to just advance your personal goal.
I'll go first.
Okay.
And I'll try and advance the body.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll go to the tavern and start chatting up with the locals.
Okay.
And see, because I was told he might have been at the bar, see if he was there, see what I can do. I'm usually quite perceptive and have all of my cognitive abilities.
Which player do you want there with you?
I want to have my best friend, Johann.
Okay.
He'll be there to help assist me with the situation.
Okay. So, scene begins. Is this nighttime? Is this daytime? Is this?
It's the evening. We're getting towards the twilight hour. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's evening time at the Last Chance Bar, and don't we have like a bartender or something?
Yeah. Can that be Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, sure. What's the name of the bartender?
Janice.
Okay.
So I was saying, Johann, I was first off this crazy fisherman who has the worst toilet facilities on a boat I've ever seen. But we'll talk about that later. Is blaming me for this murder of this preacher we have at the local church, and is unbelievable.
There's been a murder. Why haven't I heard of it yet?
I mean, he's dead. He's not dying. I'm sure it's okay. Your job, which I'm aware of because I'm a huge fan, is more to take care of, bring them back from despair rather than from the death. So either way, I'm hanging out here having a great time. Police officers ask me all these questions because they know that I'm a great source of information and a reliable human being. So
Yes, you're a source of too much information, Bolton. Can you cut to the chase?
I understand what you're saying. That I'm great, but I thought it might be a good idea to kind of investigate around here with you, my best friend, with see what's going on. So a barkeep, Janice, I got a question for you. Did you see the great reverend in this area past couple of nights? I'm not sure if you saw her.
Yeah, I've got a question for you first before I answer that one. You're gonna pay your tab this time, sweetheart.
I feel like you should probably answer my question first. It's probably more pertinent.
I'll tell you what, you pay your tab and I'll answer anything you want.
Absolutely. Hey, Johann, I seem to have maybe misplaced my wallet. I think I left it in my Benz and the next street over. Could you possibly spot a brother a few bucks here to help me?
This has to be the last time, Bolton. Come on.
Of course. And how much do I? Oh yeah, this has got to be at least maybe like $2, $3. I'm pretty sure. So I'll have to add that to the Johann best. I'll put it on my Johann best friend tab. Owe him now $7. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I would love to pay this tab and see if you saw anything around here. I guess this would be when I roll.
So this is when you beat your roll. So there's only 2 of you. Okay. So you have 2 dice versus a difficulty of 3.
All
so
right.
You roll the 2, and then long as your PC can roll the 3 for opposition.
Okay.
And 4, 5,
So
6s.
I rolled 2 d6s.
2 d6s. Yep. Oh god. Yeah. So opposition got 2, you got 1. And so what is it you're asking, Janice?
Have you seen the great reverend around here? I feel like I'm the gumshoe that can get to the bottom of this. I think that our law woman in the area she's kind of lost, and I really want to do what I can to help out.
Yeah, and I think she's just like, yeah, sorry, Bolton, but yeah, I haven't seen him. You know, we've been really busy, and he might have been here, might have not been here, but I don't really know. I can't say because you failed, so she's not really sure.
Well, that's a shame. I guess I'll just have to sit here with my best friend and talk about the night a little bit longer. So what you been up to, pal?
So that was the body you were trying to investigate?
Yes.
And so you failed. So then we remove a die from the body, which I just did. And then and you get to choose, you either subtract 1 die from the event or you add a die to the darkness. What would you prefer to do?
So what happens again when you add them or subtract them?
So event die, like if we're trying to, over the course of the game, build up our event pool so that at the end during the confrontation, we have more event dice to roll, which means the likelihood of us going through with that glacial survey is higher. Conversely, the more dice the darkness pool get, the stronger it becomes, and it's going to be a lot harder to defeat it later on.
So it's either add 1 to the event or remove 1 from the darkness.
No, it's subtract 1 from the event because you failed. Subtract 1 from the event or add 1 to the darkness.
I'll subtract 1 from the event.
Okay, so then we're going to be down to 1 in the event, and we've got 2 in darkness still. Okay.
Damn it, I just got that point.
Listen, I'm doing my best to solve the mysteries of this town.
All
okay?
Right. Long,
Someone's got to do it.
I think it's your turn, man.
Yes. For this scene, it's going to be advancing the body.
Okay. So you're going to try to research something, learn about the body some more too. Okay.
So we'll say it's finally made its way to the lab. Finally get a look at it. It'll be Willis, my assistant, and then the player will be the law, Alice. She'll come by with it.
Okay. Sounds good. So you got
All right.
2 dice so far. Now the only thing I should probably mention to everybody, by the way, is character points. You don't have to be in the scene to spend them. Like, this is all collaboration, right? So if you want to help a scene out or something like that, you can always spend a scene, as long as it's okay with whoever's the spotlight player, to add something to the scene as well. So feel free to spend your points on other people's scenes as well.
And I also wanted to ask, can I go ahead and cash out the 2 points that I have for an extra dice?
Yeah, so what she's doing now, she's going to spend her 2 character points to increase her personal dice pool. So now anytime any of us include Alice in a scene, she's going to add 2 dice to the pool, which means by default we're going to be rolling like 3 dice before we even.
That's permanently.
That's permanently for her. You got to spit, but it takes 2 character points to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I did the personal goal.
How do you
first.
earn points? You have to be successful.
So you'll earn an automatic point at the start of Act 2, and you also get one at the start of the game, and then you have to be successful on personal goals or
relationships,
making relationships better.
Yeah, so personal goal, it's automatic. As long as you spend time doing a personal goal, you automatically get the point.
Yeah.
With relationships, it's still a roll.
Yeah.
And if you're successful with the roll. So, all right, Long or Johann, do you have something for me?
Yeah, it's quite a unique case here. I thought it was going to be just another bear attack, but got something on our sights.
Like what?
Old Will's here. He's got some theories, but I don't know how ethical it is to get into it.
I don't understand. I can't protect the people in this town if I don't know what the dangers are. So I don't understand what your ethics has to do with this.
Well, what I've come upon here is looks like he's missing a couple things. Some of his personal belongings, and we don't really know what it could be unless we get access to some of his living quarters.
I can definitely go take a look at his house and see if there's anything missing.
Right. I believe this could push on your investigation. It also appears that his wounds might be unaccidental.
What do you think? What do you think did it?
Can't say for sure, but it's definitely on purpose.
Did he? So somehow he got in the water after dinner and drinks last night and ended up over by the boats over there.
So, I think someone must have tried disposing of him. No evidence behind, sort of thing. But he-
Did you find any debris or anything to kind of give us an idea of who that might have been?
It's possible if you could find his holy symbol that he covers it around. Maybe someone took it or has pieces of it.
Do we need Willis to be involved in this situation too, or is he just gotta
It's
like be
entirely
there?
up to Long, really. He's the lead guy on the scene. Involuntary assisted suicide. So what question are you trying to answer in this scene, Long?
Question?
Yeah, so like every scene when you're like doing some sort of investigation, like what are you trying to learn? What information are you trying to get? Because this isn't like a personal development.
Right.
So like what are you trying to get out of this scene?
So like he asked me earlier.
It's some sort of body
Mhm.
advancement, right? So
right.
it's like,
So you're trying to investigate into whether or not he had like belongings or something like that. Like what happened to
So
his
it's your
belongings.
scene, but maybe the role could be whether or not when I went to the house I found anything missing.
Okay.
Maybe I already went there. Would that work, Long?
yeah, somehow we found something that's linked to the incident.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. So then go ahead and because Alice is in this, she's 3 dice. So that's 3 dice versus 3 dice again. So two for Alice, 1 for Johann. So 3 total versus opposition. So Long, roll 3 for our side, and then Melissa, roll 3 for opposition. Man.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeesh.
And that's a fail again.
Oh no.
All right.
1-4 for me.
So it's a shame that 1-4. Okay, so you were doing the body. That's another fail. So we remove a dice from the body, and then we have to choose whether or not we subtract 1 die from the event or we add a die to the darkness. That's up to you, Long.
We can't because nothing can have 0. So it forces
So we
our
add
hand, right?
darkness
Yeah, no story player can now do this, so we have to add 1 to that. Okay,
from
so
the body, right?
yeah, so I'm just gonna drag it back. I got it.
Oh,
All right, no, you did it. You're fine.
Oh wait.
No, I got it taken care of. All right. So a couple things, because I had forgotten to do this on my turn. Whenever we add a die to the darkness, a manifestation happens. So this is just basically something else in the town kind of happens that is sort of further illustrating that the darkness is growing in power. So I'll say, like, when after mine, like, one of the other things that Alice, you were getting reports of as the manifestation for mine was that there were a bunch of other animals, like pets and things, cats, dogs. There was, stray animals and such that were kind of getting shown up with their throats ripped out and such here and there. There's a lot of reports of that happening, behind diners. Maybe Miss Barrow's cat got ripped out or something. Things like that started happening. So now, Johann, since you just did this, it's the same thing. Like, what we think about, like, how is the darkness manifesting again? And if you look at The Sky's Gone Out, you can see that it has some suggestions for what could potentially happen with potential manifestations towards the bottom. But you can choose whatever you want. It doesn't have to be that.
okay. We can go with some holy symbols or statues at the church are, like, destroyed.
Okay. So vandalism at the church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So that's everyone's done a round. And so now we do another round for Act 1. Any order is fine. So if anyone's got a specific idea, go ahead.
I would like to work on my relationship with Mr. Fogelberg.
Okay.
So is this a new act or is it just another round?
No, this is another round. Two scenes in Act 1, 2 scenes in Act 2.
So I guess I'll go down to the docks where he was working at the cannery area, and I want to try and hash it out, bury the hatchet. Obviously, he's upset with me. I'm willing to extend the olive branch because I'm clearly the one on the right here.
And you see me just with this big old cleaver just chopping up fish for chum.
Hey, buddy. Listen.
Don't call me buddy.
I don't like saying it either, but I don't know what other word to say. Listen. I understand that there might be some type of issue between us. Personally, I don't know what it is, but you're being a real dick about it.
You wrecked me boat and then you pissed on the wreckage.
I don't know. Listen. It was an accident, okay? Time to time, not very often, once in a while, I like to have a few of the, of the dog that bit me, and like to go out and enjoy the night. I don't know what happened. I had a few at the local tavern. Saw, out of nowhere, I'm on the docks. Don't know what occurred. I just thought I could get on there, take a little bit of a nappy nap, and saw that the keys were in there, and I thought it might be a good idea to get a little bit of a tour. I had no idea that things would end up the way they were. I was going to put it back. I know it was completely a bad idea, but it was also, in my defense, it was super fun. And
being on the water is very fun. But get your own boat next time.
I know it was not responsible. I can say that at the very least. As for the pissing part,
I had a lot of liquids that evening and I had to get rid of it. And I thought it was going off the side. The fact that it was directly onto the dashboard was unaware. So that's my best explanation for that, which is unfortunate to say the least. I'd like to say I'm sorry, at the very least, try and deal with this so that you maybe don't try and run me over with your car when you see me in the streets on a regular basis.
Oh, I'm not gonna run you over with a car. I'm gonna take this here cleaver and I'm gonna cut off your hands just like you cut that Reverend's hands off.
Listen, I had nothing to do with it. Okay. I have a hard time walking down the street, let alone precisely cutting the hands off a human being. How do you expect me to do that? All right. So that's all I want to say. Whether or not you take it, it was an accident.
You
I'm
drink
sorry.
too much. You talk too much. You breathe too much. You wander around this town too much.
Obviously, I can't promise that it'll never happen again. But I'll try my best. All right. So that's all I want to say, buddy.
Okay, so go ahead and let's do the roll. Again, it's 2v3, unfortunately. So if you want to roll the 2, I'll roll the 3 for your opposition.
Okay.
Go ahead. Okay. So you've got 1 success. I also have 1 success. Tie goes to you. Now,
Seems like I'm a pure charmer.
there's one thing I wanted to look up, but I didn't have a chance since I was in the scene with this one. But with when you do what you just did, you have some options for how to resolve that. I'm trying to look it up. Melissa, you know what I'm talking
I got
about?
it. So either you replace the thumbs down with a thumbs up, or you both get an additional character point. So
Right.
Justin, you get a character point immediately just
Right.
because you did
Mhm.
this scene.
Okay.
But you can either flip the thumbs down to the thumbs up, or you both get points.
So I would get 2 then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I would get 1 as well because I'm in the scene.
Yep.
So I get to choose this.
So yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah.
You're the story. So it's your choice. You automatically get 1 extra. So you're going to be at 2. But then your next choice now is: do you flip from the red
I
down?
think it would be better narratively and strategically for nothing to have really been accomplished.
Okay, he wrapped
And
his ball.
that we both just get extra points.
Okay.
And the end of the scene is like, listen, dickhead, I tried my best. If you're gonna be an asshole still about it and talk about chopping my hands off, maybe you can just go put it where your mama split you. You know what I mean?
Speaking of splitted you, and I'm gonna hold the cleaver up to you. If you come on my boat again, I am gonna split you where your mother split you.
You ain't got the balls.
If whatever killed that Reverend doesn't kill you next, I'll tell you, I'll be the one to kill you. Now get off me boat.
Whatever, buddy.
Okay.
No.
I like it. Good. All right, so go ahead and I'll get you 1 and me 1. So you should be at 3 at this point, Justin. And
When can I cash in for another die or whatever?
you can do it now.
Yes, I'll do that now so I can get another die. 'Cause I
Sure.
thought I just better
And
do
so
it.
you and Alice are both at default too. All right. Who's next?
Yeah, I'm hit it up.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Johann.
It's gonna be an event with the Glacier Survey.
Okay.
My research team has been working with that agency sent over, and I'll try to get that research ahead of them to back to Miss Barrow.
Okay. Is that who you want in the scene?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Ashley and Long. Okay. Go for it.
All right, I've got early results that you might not like the sound of, but to stabilize this glacier, we might have to cease operations momentarily. I know how you like lining your pockets, but this is for a longer term investments. Your boats and actions are
What would you project? How long would you project that we would have to cease operations?
a couple of months to see the early results. It might be up to a year.
And Miss Barrows isn't too thrilled with that, but like, Do you have enough to study within the meantime?
What do you mean by that?
Aren't you guys like just studying the glacier, or am I misunderstanding like properties or whatever's inside the glacier, or
So
are you guys just studying how to stabilize it?
yeah, so there's a survey team that's inspecting it, right?
Yeah.
But the early reports suggest that there's stability problems, and that the glacier could potentially represent a threat to the town. So it's about figuring out whether or not like the glacier is going to like threaten the town and force it maybe to move or people to relocate and stuff like that.
So then would you say like your research is saying that it's threatening the town and that we'll have to move the town, or
Right, that's what's been reported. And I'm saying like how to stabilize it momentarily. You'll have to see some operations.
okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Well
So
then
you could
what
roll
are
now if you wanted. Like you'd roll
Yeah.
now, and so that determines whether or not like your company would be willing to cease certain operations or wouldn't, you know, that kind of thing. If you wanted to do that.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't even know what her company is.
Yeah, you work for the fishing company, right?
Yeah. Like I'm like the owner.
Yeah.
So I'm fishing too much or something, and it's affecting the.
Mm-hmm. You're sending
Okay.
Quint out on doing too much fishing near the glacier or something like that, maybe.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get 2 here? Or is it?
So yeah, it'll be 2 since you didn't introduce anything new, and then 3 for the difficulty. So you roll the 2, and then Ashley, since she's in the scene, can roll the 3.
One to one.
Okay, 1 to 1. That's a
So
success.
you get it.
All right, so you were developing the event, correct?
Right.
All right, so let me pull up the resolution. So for the event, as a success, you just add a die to the event. So just drag one up from the top and put it in the box, and good to go.
All right.
Cool. All right. So how's that scene resolve? Like in terms of like the fiction?
It resolves in basically Miss Barrow's agreeing to fish up in different waters further away from the glacier. It'll be like longer expeditions that she'll have to send Clint out on, so she won't see him as often.
Quint.
So
not
Quint. Excuse me, sorry. So she's a little sad about
banging
that.
for 2 decades and you forget me name. You didn't forget me name when you were screaming it at the top of your lungs last night, were you?
She's like, I have a touch of dementia, all right?
Guys, I am not gonna lie, this is pretty hot.
What are you doing here? Get out of here, you.
I think
He's just like peeking in my window.
Okay, I think I'm going to go next, actually. I think I got a good follow-up, and I'm just going to do personal goal. So Quint's going to assume that you came to him and basically told him that, like, he's got to fish somewhere else. He can't fish by the glacier, but fuck that, because the glacier waters have actually yielded a significant haul for him that he's been able to sell the excess of that doesn't go back to your company over to the cannery. And despite having to work with Hooper, who's a rich pain in the ass, he's still getting extra cash on the side. And who the hell do you think you are, like, you know, going ahead and saying that kind of stuff? Or maybe he's not even going to get mad at you. He's just going to do it on the sly. And so you're going to see a scene of after you tell him he can't go there. We're going to see a scene. He's out there right by the glacier that's up in the background, and he's hauling up these fishes. And so I'm just going to develop my personal goal for my scene and get my extra character point, I think.
Okay.
So I'm defying your orders, and I'm still pushing out towards this mysterious glacier.
Gotcha.
Okay. So who has not gone yet in the second round?
I have not.
So it's Melissa and
Oh, this is
Justin.
starting to develop well, and I'm enjoying the piece of it now. Now I kind of get what's going on.
It's
Yeah,
always
I haven't
awkward
gone
the
yet.
first round. Like when we played Fiasco for the first time, it was awkward as shit. But then we played it again, and I got to like exercise a demon out of Ashley. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. All right, so I think it's I think it's just Melissa, or is
I still need to
okay,
go.
So Melissa and Ashley, you two have either one of you have to go next.
I can go. I would like to do a relationship scene with Johann. So a mending fences scene with Johann, I suppose. So I'm at some point we're kind of in the same place. And
Where are we?
Let's just say we're at the station.
Okay.
And so, Jeff, when it comes to items, like, can the item, like, does it have to advance the plot, or can it just be an item?
It should be tied to one of the pillars.
It needs to be tied to a pillar. Okay, then never mind. It's not going to apply to this. So we're back at the station. We're kind of doing updates, and so Alice will approach you and say that you are very crucial right now to kind of everything that's going on right now.
Tell me something I don't know.
Can you just let me finish for 2 seconds? You've always got to be so arrogant. The research is really important to this town, and you know that's very important to me to save the town. But also solving this murder. I definitely need you, kind of doing the best that you can do. And if it turns out that Bolton ended up doing this, I want to make sure that the evidence that we find...
There's no way Bolton could have done this. If he did, he would have told me already.
You know what? I'm not so sure. And I've definitely held a grudge against you for a long time. You remember when Bolton was engaged to my daughter and they went out on the boat, and because he does nothing but drink all the time. And I didn't understand for a long time how after their boat crashed, you somehow saved him, but couldn't save my daughter. And I just didn't, I don't know. I thought maybe he got preferential treatment because he's always kissing your ass all the time. But, maybe that's not what it was. And maybe you really did your best. But I think if we work together, we can figure all of this out.
Yes. You brought back demons of my past again. I've tried. I tried that moment, that time. It always replays back in my mind. Do I save Bolton or your daughter? I tried saving them both. I really did, but Bolton just was the one that survived.
She's getting right now, I just want to say.
Sometimes they say that, the drunk person in the accident can be the one that gets up and walks away because, they were intoxicated. So I thought for a long time it was intentional, but I guess that's just what happened. But, there's just too much on the line right now. We've got to be working together. And I just never really told you that I did kind of am working that out, but I think we can work together on this. And if it turns out that he did something, then I want to make sure that nothing is, unassailable if we need to bring him in. So I want to do a roll.
And because you spent an upgrade, I did too at the beginning of mine, just so everybody knows. But like you get 2 for you, 1 for Johann. So that's 3 versus 3. So you can do the 3 and then have Johann do the opposition.
I like the idea that I would tell him. So I'm sawing this guy's hands off.
2 successes.
Just 1.
There we go.
All right.
Okay,
So I am going to switch out the relationship.
I'll go ahead and do that. Do you want to? So it's going to be. You also get a point, though. Don't forget that you automatically would get a point.
I'll take my point.
All right. So you are feeling better. You have kind of forgiven him.
Yep.
Maybe Johann hasn't quite forgiven you for whatever or some other reason. He's still kind of holding a grudge, but you've forgiven him in some way. That was really good, guys. That was a nice scene. I liked it.
Nice.
All right. So last person this round is Ashley. Miss Barrow.
Hey.
Miss Barrow.
What about scenes about the darkness. Is that like a thing that can be done?
Yes. So if you're doing a scene for the darkness, it's sort of trying to figure out like what the hell. So in this case, um, we've got a dead body with their hands cut off, throat ripped out. We have a bunch of pets. Maybe I even offhandedly, when I was describing my manifestation, that your cat had their throat ripped out, and various other cats and stray animals.
Because I'm
And-
imagining Miss Barrows has like 10 cats, right?
And a bunch
9 of them are dead.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And then the other manifestation was that at the church there was a bunch of vandalism, and all sorts of like religious like crosses and stuff like that were destroyed in some way.
Well, I'd like to imagine. So 9 of my cats are missing. All I have left is Potato. That's my fat white cat. And so, I'm holding Potato and I'm walking around, and I notice the tail of one of my other cats is like, because like the church is like not quarantined, but like, blocked off. And I see the tail of my cat, and I'm like, oh, Whiskers. And she, jogs over to see what's happening. And she kind of like reaches to grab it by like the back of its neck and pull the cat up. And she notices there is no neck.
Oh, God.
The cat's been beheaded. And so she drops the cat, and then she throws open the doors to the church, and she notices that her cats are just all over.
Okay. So
and dead.
Location is the church.
Yep.
Who else do you want to be there?
I would say she would immediately call Alice.
Okay.
Because there has been a crime and my lovelies are dead.
I don't think we have an NPC at the church already, so
no.
Keep that in mind. All right, go for it.
I can also spend a coin if we want to get an extra NPC.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it at the beginning. You can always do it during the flow of the scene if certain things are starting to make sense, but go for it.
Gloria told me to get over here. What is going on?
I was telling you the other day that my 9 beautiful children were missing. And then I grabbed Sprinkles. And she holds up her hand, and it's covered in blood and like cat fur. And her whole head just fell to the ground.
Oh dear. What? Let me
And
go.
she's weeping into Potato. So she's holding her other cat to her face.
Let
crying.
Okay. Let me take that for you. Let me. I got it. Let's go get you on the couch. Let me get you some tea. Sit down. What
could have done this to my babies?
I don't. Well, I was thinking that Bolton might have done something, but he would never do anything to your cats. I don't think.
If you think he could catch, I might overfeed them a little bit. But if you think that they would slow down fast enough for him to be able to do this.
No. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Something awful is going on. But you know what? You know what we're going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the station, and I'm going to get some little boxes, and we're going to do this proper.
Okay, so I guess we'll just roll.
Right. So like the idea of the darkness is like you're pushing it back or you're protecting it. It's not like you're protecting it.
So basically we're rolling to see if we're going to let this like
as we're like, can we try to figure things out as we're looking through the cat remains?
I mean, it's whatever you want, really. I mean, it's all kind of fluid. I think like body is more about investigating like what happened to the body, and then darkness.
I was thinking more of this like breaking the spirit of the town even further, like demoralizing. Like if I succeed, then this kind of unites the town a little bit more into hunting and figuring out what's happening with the body.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm rolling 3.
It should be 3 versus 3 again, because you got Alice in the scene. Go ahead, Melissa.
Working on it.
Uh-oh. That's okay. 2-2.
Okay, so that means I get it. So if the player succeeds, I remove a die from the darkness.
Okay, so
All right.
let's go ahead and move. I got it.
Does she add it to something else?
It just says remove a die from the
So
darkness.
I got it up here. Yeah, remove a die from the darkness. That's it.
I think the better plot twist is as she turns the corner, the cat is vandalizing the church stuff, and it turns out the cat is behind the darkness the whole time.
Or she turns the corner and there's Bolton, like just cutting arms off the cat.
I swear to God, I just everywhere.
And he's super drunk and he has no idea he's doing this.
They
That's
taste
the
so
story.
It's like a raccoon or something that I found.
Or he just doesn't have any idea. He's he's like a blackout drunk
It's
who's
like,
a serial
what's that?
killer when he blacks out.
That's the end of Act 1.
All right, so that is the end of Act 1. We get to move on to Act 2. Now, first of all, what we do in Act 2 is we increase the opposition. So instead of it being, instead of rolling versus 3, we're gonna be rolling versus 2, or excuse me, versus 5, because we add 2. So our scenes are going to be going up against 5. Plus, we all get another character point for free at the start, so you can drag one from the upper left down to your name. Whoa, where'd that go?
I'm just going to cash in.
If somebody else takes it,
Someone
it goes
stole
away.
mine.
I'm going to cash in right away, so now I have.
Okay, so basically, I think I'm at two dice in my pool. Bolton is as well, and Alice. Who else?
I will cash mine in for 3.
Yeah, so if I get my second
Give
thing,
Johann its game on. It's so true.
I'll go to 3 as well. So I'll have 3 dice now.
Little do you all know.
You upgraded
Miss
twice?
Barrow's-
Yeah, I'm
Because I
going to
just
do the
got
same
this.
just now.
Yeah, me and Melissa did the same thing because we just got this point.
Okay.
You're
How very
cashing in.
selfish of you, but it's all about yourselves. Okay, so you're both
People are blaming me for murdering cats, so why not be selfish?
Okay.
What's going on?
So they're spending their character points to increase their dice pools. So now whenever Bolton, because Bolton's now increased it twice now, so he is now worth 3 die in a scene. And same with Alice. So anytime
wow.
I'm worth 2.
How do you do that? You just
It takes 2 character points to increase your dice pool by 1. So
Just keep track of it yourself.
So
There's-
you could
Oh,
do
okay.
that
Noted
if you
anymore.
spend both of them right now.
yeah, so you
Yeah.
could if you wanted, but that means you also don't have points to spend on other things like adding extra players to scenes.
right. I'll just
and-
hold on to it because
Yeah, it's your
people
call.
already upgraded.
Okay. But also don't forget the difficulty is now up to 5 that we're going up against with this new round of scenes. So that's one thing we're doing. Then the other thing is just in general, like in Act 2, things are just supposed to get darker and more dangerous. The darkness effectively becomes more present because we're also adding 5 die to the darkness pool.
What the heck?
Yep. So let me go ahead and add
Oh,
that 'cause
shit.
it's the number of players, and so we have 5 players. So let me add that's 2. We've got 3, 4. Hang on, we should be at like 7, I think. All right, and then Melissa, there's one more thing. Can you look it up for me, please?
I don't remember that piece, but I will look.
I think it's got something to do with the body. I'm not sure if the body gets more dice or gets fewer dice. One of those things. So just in general, like the darkness should be more present. And don't forget that the bigger the dice pool is for the darkness, the harder it's going to be for the resolution roll. The more dice we get in the event roll, the more likely that survey turns out good for us. Right now we have 2 dice in the event pool. That's not great. And that pool is usually going against the negative relationships left on the table. So right now we have 4 negative relationships left on the table. And so the event kind of versus that as part of like the building the dice pools at the end. Melissa, what you got?
I'm getting there. It's page 97. Finding page 97.
'Cause I forget. I swore there was something else you do with the body, and I don't remember what it is. I got the actual physical book here. So you add dice equal to the number of players, which we did. Stakes are increased. Scenes start with 5 dice in the opposition pool. That's it. I thought there was something else we do with the body, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, there's something that I think we kind of.
No, I think we're okay. I don't think we've made
Yeah.
any major boneheaded mistakes yet. Yeah, we're good. It might be in the finale I'm thinking of. Okay. So, Act 2. things are more dire, more dangerous. The darkness, like that, those dice are its relative strength, right? So like that's what we should be thinking about now, that whatever the hell is killing these people and these creatures is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so we're seeing all these things that are potentially happening. And so like in terms of like manifestations, so there's like more stuff popping up left and right. You know, there's more religious symbols that are being destroyed. There's more cats and dogs that are being like ripped apart and stuff like that. Anyone have an idea for next scene?
I'm ready to go, but if someone else wants to go, they can go first because I want to
Do it, man. It's all good. Whatever's natural. If you're ready to
I'll
go,
battle
let's do it.
against the darkness. So I'm gonna do it because I gotta get those dice down.
Okay.
And I'm just it's nighttime because that's during the day I'm inside a bar, right? So the only time I'm traveling around is at night. I'm going through one of the back alleys of this small town. And, I hear some noises behind a couple of dumpsters. I'm 3 sheets to the wind, right? And something's just, and you just hear like a cat losing it a little bit too much. Obviously, I thought, I'm drunk. I think maybe it's just a couple of cats fighting or something. But I decided to go kind of investigate what's going on over here. As I am also walking and peeing at the same time.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to do here.
So where would you say the location would be? Are you so like is it an alley behind a specific location already?
I would say that I am. What are these? These letters are so small.
The other thing I'll say is, by the way, the darkness. Very rarely is there ever like direct fighting during the 2 acts, like, or direct confrontation, because it's so overwhelming.
The thing is basically going to be, do I see something or do I not see something?
Okay, so like to kind of better identify what it
what
is.
the problem is.
Yeah.
It's not now it's not like I pull out my 22 and go to town.
Okay, so you're trying to better identify what it is.
Yeah.
Who is there with you?
We'll say my dog in the hallway is one that you probably hear. So I have NPC. Who could be with me? Any thoughts? Who could be with me? Anybody?
Could be. I mean, what location did you pick again? Like what existed?
I'm gonna be like behind the I'm around the station.
If you're by the station, Johann and Alice regularly are probably going there.
Yeah, and I would say I'm probably keeping an eye on him, so I would be okay with being there.
Stumbling around, she's kind of like looking around the corner, making sure I'm okay. She's also suspicious of me, but she's not.
I was going to say, I'm not sure I'm worried if you're okay.
But she's not within ears to hear what I'm hearing. Like she's further back, she can't see things that are occurring. But if I were to see something, I would alert her, have her come over, and there'd be an interaction. If I don't, it's just like, meh.
She sees a drunken murder suspect getting ready to go down a dark alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Check. All right.
So I roll 3.
All right. Yeah. So you would roll 2. So you guys both upgraded, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 dice versus 5. Okay. Because your personal pool, Bolton, is 3. Your personal pool is 3, Alice. So that's 6 total. And then there's the 5.
So did you call me over? So we're both looking at this at the same time?
Would it have to be that, or could it be that? Because I don't want her to. If I fail, I'm calling her over, I guess. But like, if I fail, she's gonna look at me like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you can roll it now and then do the. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll roll the 4 then. I'll roll the 2 help.
You roll 6, Justin. Yeah. 6 for you.
I meant like 4 FOR, not the instead of against. So I'll roll that.
Okay, got 1, 2, 3 for Justin.
2.
and
2 for the opposition. So this is successful. So how does this scene play out, guys?
So I walk over, I hear the, and then get like losing its mind, and I'm like, what the hell is this noise? I thought these cats fighting. I look over, something with glowing eyes looks over at me and just starts off, and I lose my mind. I'm like, Alice, I know you've been watching me. I swear to God, I just saw something awful, just bifurcating and destroying this poor little house cat. You have to see what the hell just happened. I swear, my hands are clean.
Alice will run over and Yeah.
You can see I'm nowhere close to this thing. This thing has been destroyed. What the hell is going on in this town? I, I, I don't know if we should tell anybody though. This is definitely not something that we should talk to others about. This is messed up. We don't want to panic the town.
No. Let's give me your coat and let's pick this cat body up and move it.
I'll take this garbage can lid and do that. This coat is
Fine.
this is a genuine bear's sweater, and I will not sully this for the likes of a dead cat. So I'll help out with that. But holy moly, this was a terrible thing. So yeah. So that means we move on from the darkness.
Yep.
So that one goes bye-bye.
All right. So I'll put it up there. All right. Who wants to go next? So there's a creature with glowing eyes that was gnawing on these animals in the alleyway, and you're not telling anyone about it. Got it. Who's next?
Can I just pick the scene up
Well,
from there?
The
Absolutely.
only reason why I said is my character just wanted to.
Oh no,
wants
no.
to-
I'm just summarizing. So.
Okay, it's like what the hell's your problem?
Who's in the scene? Is Bolton still in the scene, or do you want somebody else?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see. I may just grab him because he was already there and just see if we can. I'm gonna try to go after them. Like look at the prints, see how far apart the prints are, trying to get a sense of size and all of that kind of information. So like I basically tell him like just hold the little trash can lid and let's see what we can find. So can you help me with this? And we'll kind of follow the tracks for a little bit, see what we can
Sure,
see.
whatever you want. This is real gross, and I've had I think one beer, and I'm feeling a little sloshy. I'm kind of a lightweight, but I'll definitely help you out with whatever you need, I guess.
So you're trying
So
to
he'll
track.
kind of-
You're trying to track this thing, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to just gather some information. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of, police skills, like looking how far apart the footprints are to gauge how tall this creature is and, whatever.
Okay. So same roll as last time then.
Okay.
Since it's
So
the
I'll
turn.
roll the 6.
And then I roll a 5. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
That's not
I
like-
got 0 successes.
Who would have thought using a drunken town local as your deputy wouldn't work out for you?
Can I say what happened? Yes. Can I say what I did? Like I just started taking a piss on the tracks. I think I found them. Oh, they're kind of going away.
Damn
alright.
it. So what happens if you
Whoopsies.
fail a darkness roll?
Hang on a second. For some reason that's not updating. I don't know why. It's so weird. The roll wasn't updating. Anyway. Close that down. The rolls are not showing properly. Oh well. Okay, so we're doing
Add a die to the darkness and add a manifestation.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I got the die. So how does the manifest come? So the manifestation can come as there's like the suggestions in our playtest, but you come up with other things. So it could be additional bodies, it could be other something else, whatever you want.
All right, let me get back to the Okay, so what we were, kind of eyes down, looking at, kind of the prints and everything. And he's just pissing on them. And I just sort of like roll my eyes at what the hell is going on. And kind of as I'm just like, oh, what is going on? I hear from above that there are these strange flapping noises overhead.
Okay. Sounds good. Who's next? So that's
Oh my god.
Bolton and Alice. Ashley, Long, either of you ready?
I think I just want to do like a personal scene or like a character building scene.
Okay. Your
With-
personal goal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And oh god, I lost my sheet. So what I want to have basically want it to be where she meets with Alice, and because now her personal goal has, obviously it's still about the town, but it's also about the safety of the cats. That's a new priority. I mean, it's always been a priority, but it's up there now because she lost 9. So she's gonna meet with Alice and basically just ask her, like, where's the investigation on this? My cats were murdered and then used to, deface a church.
Well, what I can tell you is that while Bolton might still be responsible for the death of the Reverend, that has not been ruled out. But I can tell you that he had nothing to do with the cats. There is some type of creature that's a land and air creature that I saw last night, and he was not doing it, so it wasn't him. There's
So
something.
are you going to be killing this creature then?
If I can find it, but stupid Bolton was like pissing on the tracks while I was trying to figure out where it's going, and so maybe tonight we can do a stakeout or something and try to find it. But I'm sorry.
I want it dead. If you're telling me if I need to hire someone, that I will consider it, and I probably will do it if you think that you can't kill it. But I want it dead and stuffed,
Oh, I can.
and I want it mounted above my mantle in my fireplace.
Now, come now. I can kill anything that needs killing. Don't worry about that. I just need a little more time.
Okay. I trust you, Alice. Okay. And then do we roll for character?
Nope, it's automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was specifically for your personal objective.
Yeah.
So, but what was your personal objective? Like your personal objective has to do with your business, I thought.
Oh, am I mixed up?
Yeah, I think like that sounded more like it's fine. I mean, I still say do it, but like I think the difference is like your personal objective is sort of whatever you're doing like around the town, and then like the personal goals, like a relationship building, is what you roll. So it's fine. Just do it, I'd say. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Long, you ready?
I've been thinking a couple things. I'll do. I was thinking darkness advancement.
Okay.
Hang on. So what's the body roll going to resolve again?
So a body is like like you're investigating something specifically about the dude who died in the beginning. Or technically, like I guess you can make it
The cats?
the cats as well if you really wanted. And so the goal is that you can remove one from the body, and then you can kind of move something else around as well. So it's like more like investigating the death of this guy.
So that takes darkness off if it succeeds too, right?
What's that?
It's one of the options.
Okay, I think we'll do that. So I'm gonna have a scene at the medical research, an emergency, not life-threatening. Someone comes in with an injury. They have puncture wounds in their wrists, and then I'll connect the dots to where it looks similar to the events happening around, and I'll call in Alice.
Yes. What do you have? My dear friend is just distraught at what's been going on here.
So here's this patient here. Can I add an NPC?
Yep. Spend a point.
You spend an NPC. You spend a point to add an NPC. Yep.
Let me get an extra dice.
Temporarily.
His name is Henry. He's coming with puncture wounds on his right hand. It's very similar to the injury the Revenant had. but his story is interesting.
So who's playing Henry? Justin or Ashley? It looks like Jeff's looking something up.
I'll do
Or
it.
are you done? Are you good, Jeff?
Go ahead, Justin. Good.
That's fine.
Sir,
What is Henry? What is he doing? What's his?
So he came in for an injury. He has puncture wounds on his right wrist, and he has an interesting story to tell about what attacked him.
and what is the story, sir?
Do you want me to wait until they succeed or not, or do you want? Are we can keep this in? Because if they succeed, then I can say it. But if they
True.
don't succeed, right? How do we want to play this
Works
out?
for me.
So do the roll, then I come up with my response.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So I've got 3. We've got an extra 1 for the PC, which is 4. How many do you have?
I only have 1.
It's 5.
Okay.
So
And then I'll roll the 5
5 versus 5.
against.
So this is Long's scene. So Johann rolls the 5 for us. So roll 5d6s, and then Alice will roll the. Get
I
your
get it. Holy
shit
crap.
on. Jeez.
Wow.
God.
3 successes against.
Okay.
So, sir,
Hans. I was in the alley, and then this thing just came.
you just pass out.
Oh, come on. He's faking it.
Did he die? And you hear like beep. Okay.
I must have
And this
clammed up
thing
because
just-
might have been you, Alice. He clammed up because the law's here. But oh well.
I'm looking out of the corner of my eye, just like,
You're faking. Definitely, Johann, if you keep finding more of these, just let me know. And I'll make a note of like where he lives, just in case this ends up being something, but I didn't really get much out of it.
Okay, so we added die. I got it to the darkness pool, and then
Damn.
a new manifestation. So what's the new manifestation?
Oh God.
was this a body or was this darkness?
Oh, was this body Long?
Oh,
So
we
you
failed.
Remove one from the event, or
Okay, but he can choose then. So we remove a dice from the body, and then what do you want to do? Do you want to take a die away from the event, or do you want to add one to the darkness? Long.
Oh, let's put it to darkness. That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. And then what's the new manifestation? I mean, I like to think I have an idea, but it's up to you.
Let's see. Manifestation. We'll just do more people are shown with this injury. These puncture wounds.
Okay. So suddenly a bunch of people start showing up at the hospital, like getting rushed in. Okay.
somebody's running around with a letter opener just stabbing people.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So I guess I'm last for first round.
Yep.
Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do a darkness. I'm going to set it. Where do I want to set it? I'm going to set it. I'm going to set it at the. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set it at the, what's it called? The Arctic Fishing Company headquarters or something? No. I'm going to set it at the cannery. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it at the cannery. And Hooper's going to be there, like this rich young kid. Like the scene's going to begin, and it's going to be like me and Hooper, and we're like inside the cannery, and we hear like flapping up in the rafters of the cannery. And we found like a bunch of rats and stuff all over the place, and cats that have been ripped up. And so currently we're like, we got flashlights out. We're kind of, and somebody else is going to show up. Let's see who's going to show up. I think Bolton's gonna show up because why not? And so I'm trying to figure out. So I think the goal I'm trying to figure out, because I've heard the story of this, like these 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 bodies. There's creature with the eyes. Like the rumors have started to go, despite your best intentions of keeping that secret. Like it's a small town. Word travels fast. Flapping of wings and such. And so this pissant Hooper, and then now Bolton shows up for who knows why, and we're trying to figure out where is this
Just popping. I'm like, hey guys, what's up?
this creature's. I want to know where this creature's location is. Like, where is his nest? Like, where is it nesting? Okay, and my suspicion is because of what's happening here is it might be the cannery. So, Bolton, you're gonna like when you like so you're coming into the cannery. Why would Bolton be at the cannery at night?
I'm not homeless. Like I have a house,
Right.
but
No, you
to mitigate costs of things, I do swing by from time to time to see if there's anything just sitting around that maybe I can just kind of swipe up for myself.
Okay, so you're coming by after hours to try
Yeah.
to like get the thrown away bad fish that nobody wanted to.
Yeah,
put in
well, just like
cans?
it's sell by this time. It doesn't mean it's bad by that time.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So you're going to hear, as you're like going through your things, you're going to hear like a big crash. Like there's going to be the sound of something crashing on the inside. And you're going to hear two people shouting. And then you're going to hear good old Quint Fogelberg's voice. Like,
God damn it, Hooper, ain't you watching it?
and like there it is. And then you're going to hear like a gun go off or something, like a gunfire or something.
What the hell is going on in there? I'm trying to get a midnight snack. What the hell? I just start heading your way.
And so when you come in, you're going to see that there's Hooper, who's like, played by, who wants to play Hooper?
I'm Hooper.
Okay, you Weasley little shitbag. Okay, you're just
Whoa,
sitting there
whoa, whoa.
kind of hiding behind me, I think. And I'm just like moving around with a flare gun, and I'm just firing a flare gun in different directions here and there. And I'm just going to be like, ugh. And then like,
Bolton.
and I'm going to hold the flare gun up to you.
So it was you all along, wasn't it, mate?
Well, calm down, pal. I was just getting myself some supplies that me and Hooper clearly have
We
talked
just
about.
saw some fucking creature with wings and eyes and like blood on their teeth and
Quick
I had to-
question.
Yep.
What
You're here.
what wings do I have? What the hell?
So what was your question?
What wings do I have to help contribute to this monster you're describing?
You could grow them, possibly, maybe.
Yeah,
You-
that sounds
you
great.
manifest
You're
them.
Smartest guy I know here on the town, I tell you.
And I'm gonna shoot up, fire it up, and you're gonna see like a flare gun just shoots up and hits the ceiling and drops down. Hopefully, it doesn't catch us on fire. And so, like,
We were in here. We were negotiating price. Yeah, and you fucking cheated me again, Hooper. You cheated me.
What is this illegal dealing here?
Illegal dealing. We've been having our under the table, deals for a while now.
and then the whole time, like this, like thing is whooshing around, and like each time it's taking out like one of these hanging floodlights that keeps like the warehouse like lit, and so it's getting darker and darker in here, and soon it's just like the little dying embers of the flare gun, of like the different flare canisters that are laying in the ground. I want to, and so I'm trying to see whether or not like it's here and this is where it lives, or whether or not it like maybe it escapes and this isn't like we just happen to catch it on its feet. So I'm trying to decide, I'm trying to figure out if like this is the place to be. So it should be 5 dice, right, Justin? Because you got 3.
Yeah, I have 3.
I got 2, and so and then I'll roll 5 for my side, and you roll 5 for opposition. Oh, that's good. I got 4 successes. You've got 3, and so we're gonna, as we're moving around, and I continue firing this flare gun, which is again all it is like these weird red lights popping up here and there. Maybe a small like barrel catches on fire and adds some extra light. we hear a crash of glass, and we look up and we see that whatever this creature was has just escaped out into into the sky, like with some kind of like skylight. But as we're starting to look around and fixing the lights and stuff, we find this like small nest up in one of the rafters, like hidden away in this loft, and there's like the bodies of all sorts of like different small animals and creatures, and we see like the hands of our reverend, like made into some sort of weird ritualistic symbol, like up on the wall, like hanging up, and like these deformed crosses that are like hanging upside down and such. And we've located the nest where this thing has been nesting out in the cannery. Okay. So that was darkness. So I get to remove a die from the darkness pool, and that is that. All right. So end of first round. Second round of Act 2.
I want to build directly off of this for personal development. So like my own goal.
Okay.
My goal is to keep things quiet in town, to just make sure that things stay the way they are. So as everybody leaves, I look back and I think this is not good. Like if this gets out of what's going on, the media will show up, our town's going to go under, the research that's kind of funneling money into our area, the fish cannery, it's all going to get in big trouble, and like things will hurt. So I want to try and protect the town. So I put it upon myself in my infinite wisdom that it might be a good idea to kind of dispose of this evidence of this nest, to kind of get rid of it. Because I think that any publicity of whatever the hell's happening here is not great. I'm trying to just protect the town. So, because I've lived here the longest, I know what's best for it. I'm the guy who runs this place. I own this town. It's me, right? It's me. So I decide it's best.
Okay.
Ashley's like, no. I decided it's best to kind of dispose of this stuff so that it can't be like you've seen it. I have the evidence in your head, but like I don't want anyone else to become privy to this information. So for me, I'm going to clean up the area and make sure that no one sees
hide evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. To keep things quiet. All right. So you get your character point. Okay. Who's next?
I would say Alice would run towards gunshots. So wherever Alice was, she would look outside. And I would say that she was with her friend, trying to, get 9 little shoeboxes, and they were trying to do looking at the bodies and then doing kind of a little burial thing with her friend. So I think it's a fairly simple scene. I basically just want to see if I can see the flying thing and where it went.
Okay.
When I heard the gunshots and looked outside.
Okay, so you're trying to again like track it where it flies away. Who's in the scene with you?
Miss Barrow.
Okay.
So did you hear those gunshots?
I definitely did. It sounded like it was coming from not my reputable business operation, so it must have been the cannery.
I don't know. Do you see anything?
And she pulls out like her spectacles, like they're on like that thing, holds them up to her eyes as she's squinting.
On a beaded necklace?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And then would you say that would be when we roll to see if I see it, or?
I mean, it's up to you all, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got 3.
I have 2, so 5 to 5.
All right. So
You tell me you got gloves on, I'm going to lose it.
I had 0
2.
successes.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Man.
Versus 2. Okay.
I slip on the ice. I break my spectacles. We don't see or learn anything. Oh, those are fine.
The beads are okay, good.
The beads are good.
Those have multi-purposes.
So does that mean we added darkness because it was a darkness fail?
So that was a darkness fail, so yeah.
Sometimes I forget we're not on someone else's channel anymore, so I can kind of say a few more things.
Yeah. We can be.
All right, I'm moving over the darkness.
You got it. Okay.
Yep.
Man, I have not been a very effective
You're a terrible
law
cop.
person. And that's my fourth.
Hey, you be careful. She's a good cap. All right.
Ashley Long, you got an idea?
I want to do something to progress the event of getting the surveyors out here, I guess, or whatever.
Okay.
And basically that event is literally just going to be me and Alice, Alice escorting me because we've heard gunshots, so now I'm concerned for my safety. And as the woman of the town, I cannot be left alone. And so I basically just want to pay the surveying team, like see if I can bribe them to complete this task, whether or not the government approves of it. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, so where is this set?
This would be set at the town center, Malice Town Hall.
Okay, and so they're having a meeting about the survey thing again?
Yeah, so like the mayor's in there having a meeting with them, and I burst in dragging Allison behind me, and I kind of like push the mayor's chair away and I sit down in front of them. So now I'm at the head of the table and I'm like, well, thank you for waiting for me, darlings. Now, where exactly were we on establishing the survey of this glacier? I would greatly appreciate expediting this process. And again, she whips out her checkbook because that's how she likes to handle things. And yeah. Even and Alice, her best friend, turns a blind eye to my habit of bribing people.
Okay. Go and roll.
So
I'm assuming, is this like a flashback before you saw a flying creature?
yes,
and
yeah, like
gunshots?
this.
So I figured-
This isn't before this happened. This is
earlier
more
that day.
flashback. Yes.
Otherwise, I feel like Miss Barrow is turning into the mayor from Jaws. Who's just like, dead
I'm
body,
gonna
come
ignore
on, hey, dead
everything
body.
awful.
This
Species.
summer is the biggest revenue for the town.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? You want to get yourself in the National Geographic, yeah.
So you got
One.
Feel like-
One.
feel like
So
one.
I get it.
You got it.
Okay.
So add a die to the event, please.
Got it. Okay, so it's down to me and Long. Long, you got something?
Oh yeah, let's do something. All right, this is gonna be at the bar or the tavern. I'm gonna meet up with Bolton because I'm at my wits here with all these injuries. People keep calling about their animals that I can't help because I'm not a veterinarian. I just need help, so I'm gonna speak to Bolton at the bar and be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if this town's for me. I can't seem to help anybody.
Is this for what? Is this for an event? What is this for?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the darkness. Maybe because that's the reason. Maybe we could come up with.
So the darkness is usually like, what are you trying to do to help protect the town and its people from the darkness, or like try to root out the darkness or something like that? That's usually what the darkness is.
Okay.
And so like the other thing to think about too is we're getting near the end. Like you and I are pretty close to the end here in our scenes. And so we have to think about like these are like some of the final scenes in the movie that are leading to its major, like the major resolution.
So you could find out more about her, maybe inspire the town or get people together to fight against it, whatever the situation is, stuff like that.
Rallying people at the bar,
Okay.
something like that.
like that scene from Beauty and the Beast where they're going out to hunt the beast.
He's Gaston,
Oh,
and
the beast.
I'm what's the other one's name? What's his little buddy?
I don't
You
watch.
could also do a relationship thing, which could help increase.
No, that's not gonna help for
Well,
the darkness.
It mechanically affects certain things at the end, but don't worry about it.
Right,
Just do what makes sense with the story. Now that we're near the end. Imagine like
All
we
right,
are
so-
right near the end.
Okay, we'll do a little build up in the bar. Get Bolton's help because he's a regular here.
Everybody gather around. My best friend wants to have a conversation with everybody. Johann, why don't you catch all these people's ears? Go ahead. Buddy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spiel. I've helped all these people. I'll point at them, be like, you've injured your foot every now and then. You've come by, and Mrs. Dugan, you've got this long illness that I've helped cure for a while now, but all this injuries, all these people just keep popping up, and I can't help. I'm only one medic in town. I'm gonna need you guys to lend me a hand here. If you want your pets and your stock to stop dying and your little Jimmy to live a healthy life, send me your assistance.
Yeah, listen to this guy. Every time I talk to him, he knows what he's talking about. He knows blood pressures, right? He knows pulses, right? So what else could he know? He must know what's happening here. Oh, another one. Thank you.
Janice, the bartender, is just pouring drinks because there's a big crowd for the speech. It's like, oh, here you go. Let me take that one. Oh, yep, let me take that. Okay, go ahead. Continue your speech. So you're trying to convince them to take up arms? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we'll see if it works here.
Yeah. So what's your base pool, Johann?
I have 1.
Okay. So 4 total dice because Bolton's a 3. And then Bolton roll 5 for opposition.
I have 2 successes.
Ooh, so does
I
he.
also have 2.
Okay. So
Yay.
you rile up the town.
I like the idea. They're just like, okay, all right.
Janice like breaks this bottle of like crappy like Southern Comfort and and she's got like a broken bottle.
All right, let's go cut this fucking thing.
And everyone's as there's now a posse.
Oh, what you're doing? That's a perfectly fine bottle of whiskey, you idiot. Dummy.
Okay, so we'll move a die from the darkness. Okay. All right. So I had a similar idea, except my final scene is going to be set at the town hall. It's going to be a late night meeting. There's going to be a bunch of different, towns officials. You had all like the citizens and stuff. I have like the officials of the town, like the mayor and whatnot. We'll say
Does a character point do anything in the final thing?
it does, yeah. But I think it's like every 2 character points left on the field contribute to something. Right now we're at an odd number, so if you want to throw one in on this,
Yeah, I want to just jump in. Like I was there. Now I show up.
You're at all the different places. Okay, so you're coming into the scene because you purchased your way in. I'm gonna say Alice is probably there as a town representative because you're a cop. You're the sheriff. The Mayor Hoffman is there. Long, why don't you play Mayor Hoffman?
Yeah, I can buy myself in because of this point sitting around.
You
Unless
can,
you want
or we
to.
can keep it
Okay.
because having 2 is useful. Having 3,
Okay.
we would lose the extra one. So spending the one.
I'll just keep it.
But we can play Mayor Hoffman, and Ashley, you can just chime in with like the random other people like on the the council, whatever. And I
Okay.
feel like this is the scene like where like all of the town officials are arguing over there's this creature that's killing, and it's like we've been focusing on all of these different like animals and stuff that been killed, but apparently other people have been killed too, and so people are talking about this and that, and they're like, what are we gonna do? Like, we need to kill this thing. Okay, we need to get out of the town. Like, we can't. And they're like, we can't. We just got to get out of here. Like we got to stop the survey. We can't bring more people in here. Like, we got to shut the ferry down. And then while all of this like nonsense is happening, you guys hear like a little screeching sound, and everyone turns to look, and there's Quint Fogelberg, like dragging his fingernails down a chalkboard, and I have drawn in chalk a picture of this flying winged vampiric-like creature. And I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna see everybody. Everyone's scared. I'm like,
You all know me. You know what I do. I'll kill this thing for you. I've spent my entire life killing things. Little fish, big fish, red fish, blue fish. This is just another kind of fish. Yeah, it's got wings. Yeah, it's flying in the air. But it's gonna come down on the ground at some point. I'm gonna do it. I'll go ahead and I'll kill it for 10. Wait, no. I'll catch it for 10. I'll kill it for 15. For that, you get the head, the tail, the wings, the whole damn thing.
so Alice, how does the official representative of like the the sheriff respond to his proposal for this?
Alice will see this as not unlike the, offering a tip line with like a cash reward for the tip kind of a thing that law enforcement uses. So she's not opposed to this kind of way of managing.
Plus
this.
you know what I do for a living. You know me.
Yeah. She's also gonna kind of assume that the money is probably going to come from her friend Miss Barrow, because it's not really like the police force has that much money. So she kind of knows
She's paying me in other
get
ways.
it.
Don't ask
Hey.
about the beads. Personal.
Oh, I hear about them.
What about you, Mr. Bear?
I think it was a mister.
15.
mayor?
I want that.
That's you, Johann. Like I want,
Oh,
yeah.
You've got the rabble out there, that stupid old medic of yours, just getting people swinging little broken bottles and swinging stools and farting all up and down the streets. They don't know what they're going to do, and they're going to get more people killed. You want this thing killed, you want a trained hunter, a bloodthirsty man like myself. I want 15,000 right now.
15.
So I guess I'll go ahead and roll it and see if this works. So we've got
This guy's a real dick, but I think he can do it.
so Bolton, he looks over. So Quit looks over at Bolton and he's like,
And he's next, that one. I'll do that one for free. 15K for the one flying. And
Have him do it. He'll probably die anyways. I
this
can do this.
2-for-1 deal, because I'm pretty sure that one right there is another one of these creatures flying around, eating our people, eating our freaking pets.
so I've got 2 for me. I almost flicked everybody off. 3 from Alice. It's 5. Bolton is 3 more. That's 8. Versus. I'm sorry. Hang on.
You just get one more.
I just get 1 more. So 6.
Yep.
Versus 5. All right. So you want to do the 5, Melissa?
Yep.
I got 3 successes.
I got 0 successes.
Okay.
So 15. If there's more of them, make it 15 per head. You get this thing out of my town.
I like the way you think, Mayor. I'm glad I voted for you. All right, let's go.
And so he looks down and his little first mate friend, which I'm assuming is Ashley, like,
Come on now, we gotta go get ourselves some harpoon guns and flare guns and...
You got it, boss.
and so now the army goes out to hunt it. All right, so we finished the second act. Let's see how this resolves itself. So we've got
Can't well be concerned about if he is successful and what may happen to me afterwards.
the mayor said 15K per head, so I'm just gonna kill you, get an extra 15K, get you out of my hair. All right, so let's pull this up here. So we are in the finale now.
Got it.
And right, I've got my little handout. Final
Thank
confrontation.
you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read it. So during the final confrontation, the players address the final pillars of the story, which is the event in the darkness, and attempt to overcome their problems. So everybody's got a dice pool, right? So everyone knows what their dice pool is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Ashley, what's yours?
2.
Yeah, you and I are 2. Melissa and Justin are 3, and then Long is 1. So we get to choose whether we're gonna. So we take our dice and we get to put them in towards either the darkness or the event. So what this means is each player contributes our individual dice pool to either holding the event, meaning helping the event take place, or combating the darkness. Or we can do both. We can split them if we have more than one. So I'll say, like, I don't think I actually have a spot to put these. So, like, obviously, like, the event, just put it in the box. If you want to combat the darkness, we'll just put we'll just put it to the side. So, I've got 2. I'll just go ahead and split mine. So I'm going to take 2 dice. One, I'll put... No, screw that. I don't give a shit about the event. I'm going to go ahead and put both of mine towards the darkness.
Yeah, and it's each player is picking which they're doing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think thematically for Miss Barrows, it makes sense for her to kind of push for the event. Maybe.
Yeah. Alice is going to do the darkness.
Okay, so just go ahead. If you're doing the darkness, like, you can see where I put them. You just go ahead and drag 2 dice from the upper left, and I can make more pretty easily if you need some more. So you're putting all 3 of yours in there, Alice?
Yeah, because I think you're just picking, like, that's what you're doing as a person. So, yeah.
You can split your dice if you want.
You can split your dice. It's not like...
Okay, I'm going to leave it. She's the law. She's looking at the darkness.
Okay.
I did 2 and 1.
All right, so I put 2 into the darkness. Alice, you put 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 5. And then how many did you put, Justin?
I put 2 in darkness and 1 in the event.
Okay, so that's 7. All right, and then Long, you have 1 to dedicate. What do you want to do?
My lone dice will go towards the darkness.
Okay,
When,
so
when
I'm
do we
gonna drag it over.
reveal what the darkness was?
We'll do it at the end.
And if so, I would like to reveal it.
Okay.
I've come up with the assumptions to what it is, so I would like to be the person that does it.
If you know what it is, it's in
No,
the handout.
I've been blind this whole time like everybody else.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that part's done. And so then any remaining character points among the players are pooled together with 1 additional die for every 2 remaining character points available. And so Long and I both have 1 left, so we get an extra die. So where do we want to go with that? I figure since it's from Long and I, and we're both fighting the darkness in our own way, you with your posse, me with mine, feel like this is going towards the darkness.
Yeah, that sounds
All right.
good.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that damn glacier. All right, so then we have to create our opposition pool against the event by counting up all the cult dice still in play between players. There are 4. So I'll go ahead and create a separate pool down here for the events. This is like its opposition. I think I can hear someone breathing, by the way. So that's 4. And split any dice still on the body card. Body player card, we have 1 between the darkness pool and the events opposition pool. So we only have 1, so we got to put it somewhere. Where do we think we want it?
What were the choices?
We have to either put it in the darkness pool or the event opposition. So what do we think is going to be harder, like to kill this creature or to get this glacier thing to the survey to go through?
I think it'd still be hard to do the darkness.
I would say put it in darkness.
Okay, so it's going to go into the darkness then. All right, so then resolve the remaining story pillars. We hold the event with this. So we'll start with the event. So we have to roll the event resolution pool. So that's the dice and the event card. And then
Plus the extra that we contributed.
they're on the card. We've actually moved them onto the card. So 6. So it's basically 6 versus 4. So who wants? I think Ashley should roll the 6 because she's been the one who's been most adamant about getting that damn thing to go. So Ashley, go ahead and roll your 6.
Okay.
This is for the darkness, and you got a total of holy
2,
shit.
3, 4, 5.
Wow.
There's no way we can beat that. The opposition, because the opposition only has 4 dice.
Yep.
So
The event happens.
the event happens. The Glacier Survey comes back, and we'll montage it in a second. And then we do the darkness one. I feel like Long and I should roll this. Long, do you want to roll for or against?
Against.
Okay. So I'll roll 4. So it's 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So I got 7 dice
I also have 7.
versus your 7. Okay, here we go. So go ahead.
Wait, it's the Count in the
Wait, don't
Darkness
you have
poll, right?
9?
2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I do have 9. I rolled 7 already, and I rolled monster. I crushed it on my roll.
6.
All right, so grand total.
I got 1.
7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus.
7.
I had 7 successes.
Yeah, you
Wow.
killed it.
Okay, so then you compare the results, and then we play out the final scenes. So I'll say that, like,
So what does the story thing say?
oh yeah, that's right. We do have to look at it because the
Final confrontation
our,
table.
our specific thing, our specific play sheet has descriptions of what happens.
So the event wins. The survey team provides a pass to the glacier, allowing the town to continue. Final confrontation from darkness.
Okay,
Darkness loses.
right.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So I like to think that it's dark because it's super dark at this point. The only light in the town are occasional like the lights from like people's homes, and you can see other people who are home, and they see these 2 mobs moving about the town, right, coming in and out of the streets, and like you see like an old woman like steps out like, oh, I'm gonna go, oh no, and they closes the door really fast. It's like one mob comes down, like, and it's Johann's group with his like they're basically like broken bar stools and pool sticks and like broken beer bottles and stuff going to chase him down. And then there's a different street where you can see like with the flare gun and some sort of harpoon gun, you see Quint and you see Miss Barrow and you see like his little partner and Bolton and Hooper and stuff. And they've got all these different like gear from fishing. And like we hear like the like a sound of some sort of screeching of someone crying out, and it's coming from the church. And then both groups kind of descend on the church. What are you thinking, Justin?
Hey guys, I know what this is. I saw it with my own eyes. It only travels at night. It's
always night here, you fool, we're near the damn northern
preys
pole.
on the weak and flies there. Guys, we are about to fight Batman, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. He is a ninja and a detective, and I don't know if we have the capabilities to take out Batman himself.
So Quint is going to go over with his harpoon gun and take the butt of it and smash it into Bolton's face just to knock him out.
Oh, okay, bye.
And it's going to turn to Johann.
Are you ready to kill this fucking thing?
Yes.
And so we descend like into the church, and this thing's like flying around and like picking people up and ripping them apart while we're firing and firing. But by the end of at the end of it all, after like the sort of the camera's like fading away, like you hear gunshots and shouting and screams, like montage through all that fight, and we come out and like there's like Johann and Quint like dragging this big Draugr with its giant wings and its bloody corpse out of the church, and like to cheers of like other crowdsfolk. How about the event side of things, Ashley?
Not nearly as exciting. Basically Miss Barrows shows up in this like fancy like Humvee like or Jeep or something like on site, and she busts open that door and she walks out, and she with her like behind her is like a fleet of some other vehicles of like her own team to help with the surveying, and because this is our town and it's gonna stay open, and they help like create the path from the glacier so that it doesn't like crush our town.
Nice. Alice, you have like a final thing that you think your cop's doing?
I feel like she's had a lot of problems with her vision. This poor like older woman. So I feel like she's been like trying to kind of help with all of this and just couldn't see anything that was going on. And so basically you just kind of see her finishing. She's over at Miss Barrow's house, and she's sort of finishing the kind of cat burial process while her friend is kind of off busy schmoozing everybody to try to kind of
Getting some shit done.
help
No.
her friend.
I pictured Alice like she can't really shoot anything. So once it's dead and it comes out, she's got like an axe and she just chops its head off and she's like, ah!
Bolton or Johann, you got like a final image, like final thing for your characters? It's Justin or Long? Justin Long. What do you think?
First, you go first.
I guess I'm back in the lab with pieces of this monster we just killed.
Okay,
Researching on that.
cool. I like that. That's really good.
When that happened, I woke up from the gun butt. I was right in front of me and go, holy shit, it was a vampire this whole time?
I thought they were like Twilight and they sparkled.
And I think the last scene for Quint is he's gonna go, and you can see him on the front porch of Miss Barrow's home, soaked in blood, and he's just gonna kick the door open, and he's like,
Where you at, you old batty woman? I've had a long day, and me muscles are really strained.
and the door's gonna close.
He's as hard as a diamond in an ice storm.
You just hear, I have the lotion.
Where are the beads at?
Okay.
And Alice is in the backyard. Like, I didn't really want to be here.
All right, so that's the end of A Town Called Malice. The sky's gone out. That's a play set. This game also is like freeform, so maybe next time we play, we try freeform.
Need to play this again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
yeah, it's weird at first.
Once
Like,
you get into it, you start feeling it,
Yeah.
and you start getting a picture of the characters and who gets like with who, and it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
yeah, it's fun. I like how at the end, like, because I feel like Long and our characters had like no interaction until the very end. We show up with our own little posses, and we both fucking hate Bolton. It's like, I didn't even know that we have so much in common. You have a
Yeah, it's
posse
just
trying
like-
to hunt a vampire, and you hate Bolton?
Are we friends now?
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Justin, you got any streams coming up to plug for yourself?
Yeah, we're doing a heroic and mythic progression of Castle Nathria for my stream at twitch.tv/Jehufa. I mostly do World of Warcraft, but I'll do sometimes some shooters and stuff like that. But like, big thing is Castle Nathria came out in the most recent Shadowlands expansion. It's been super, super fun. The most fun I've had in the game in a long time, and been doing that a whole bunch. And I've been, me and Ashley been also achievement hunting for Christmas stuff too, so it's been a good time.
Nice. Let's see. What do we got going? Tomorrow night over on twitch.tv/NotoriousDMGTV, I am playing Shadowrun at 9 Central. So Bislab, guy in that chat right there, Bert, he's going to be running that game. And on Monday over on twitch.tv/Free League Publishing, Melissa and I are playing Vaesen at 9 Central. So you can come check that out. I don't know what we're doing next weekend because it's Christmas on Friday next week, so we won't be having any games on Friday. Whether we have something on Saturday, we haven't really talked about yet. So better just follow me on Twitter, so at lollygaggerco, and I'll probably announce what we're doing at some point once we figure it out, if we're doing anything at all. We still have our second part of our Those Dark Places game to get to that we really want to get to once Derek's able to play. But that's it. Thank you for everybody who hung out tonight, and thanks for those of you who are watching this later as we stumbled through A Town Called Malice. Fun storytelling game. Now that we got it down, I feel like the next run will go even better. And we'll make our own story, too. We'll do a freeform one, and we could just make up crazy stuff. So,
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm going to put us on an end screen. I'm going to find somewhere to raid. But have a good night, everybody. And if we don't see you, have a Merry Christmas if you're celebrating. So, bye-bye.
Bye.